another Purge of the BS. I'm hoping y'all can hear me. I'm hoping I'm live. It says I'm live. If you're just jumping on, make sure you give me a thumbs up in the chat. Let me know you're here. We are going to purge a little bit of BS today. I got a very interesting story for y'all, so I'm going to give y'all a hot second to get on here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video, hit the reactions, jump into the chat, give me a thumbs up, let me know where you're coming from. Let's get this thing going. We got something to talk about today. Looks like the chat is active over there. Let's see. So guys, I'm gonna bring y'all something today that's been a recent story. I don't know if y'all know who this lady is up here. This is Tiffany Henyard. If you don't know who Tiffany Henyard is, let me give you a hot second to Google it. And you will find some pretty interesting stuff about her now. She looks great in this photo here. I've been following her and her hairstyles around for quite some time and how they've been weaved into the fabric and the public of the political scene there in the Dalton area, what it is, Thornton Township and Dalton mayor. So she's a Thornton Township supervisor, Dalton mayor, okay? Now, I'm not really sure how she got where she got. You know, I'm not accusing her of anything specifically. Like, I don't know if she, I don't want to say she slept her way to the top or nothing like that. I don't have anything to do with that. And before I get all the way into it, I got to make sure that my chat is working. Let me make sure. Okay, hold up.
Oh, you are just the worst type of person.
That's what they've been saying about this Tiffany Henyard person, is that she is the worst type of person. But apparently when things started out, it wasn't that bad. You know, I think she was initially she was historical, right? I think she was the first woman mayor of Dalton. And so, you know, she wasn't a bad look. She wasn't a bad look for first woman mayor of anything. You know, I'll let you make your own decisions about her policies and stuff like that at some other point. I mean, it didn't really affect me much, simply because she's not the mayor here where I live. So it was more of a news story, but I kind of been following it because a lot of times when we put people into positions that look like us, look like me or whatever in the melanated category, I'm always rooting for them. You know, I want them to do well. I want them to leave a good legacy. You know, I want them to be remembered well. You know what I'm saying? I don't root against them. I always bet on brown, as they would say, or always bet on black. But sometimes that doesn't get you where you really want to go. And then you start watching these folks and you start wondering, why are people in these offices if they're either not going to do the office correctly or the people don't even really want them in the office? Like, how does that even work? Hold on a second. It says I'm in there. If you come into the chat, make sure you throw a thumbs up in the chat. I got to make sure the chat is active. I don't know if it is. It's YouTube's been acting real weird with me lately because I did this little Christmas thing with my man Shell when I was over his spot, and they didn't like that. It's too much good vibes or something. They really been tripping lately. But anyway, so to pay homage to this lady, this Tiffany Henyard lady or whatever, right? I'm going to be straightforward. And like I said, she was historical when she came into the situation. I'll let you see the news story for yourself.
History is going to be made today in South Suburban.
This is like 3 years ago.
Tiffany Henyard will be sworn in as the village's first woman mayor. Henyard won 82% of the vote in the April election. She'll be sworn in at 4 this afternoon at Dalton Main Park. Henyard has been the subject of some past controversy.
Already was controversy, though.
Free gas at a Food for Less in Dalton.
There's nothing wrong with that.
What was billed
Free
as
gas?
a kickoff to her mayoral campaign. Some legal experts told CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov at the time that if the gas giveaway didn't cross the legal line, it definitely stood right on it.
All right, well, that's no different than Elon Musk giving people $1 million to register to vote. So, not mad there. She came into the office. I'm not going to say she had the best of intentions, What I can say is she came into the office, and at the time, people seemed to be happy about it. People really seemed to be like excited. And they were like, you know, she's a new, I don't know if they said a new face or whatever they said. They had a whole, they were positive. People were optimistic when she first came into office. And so it didn't last very long. I'd say like the first year or so, her name started coming up and everything. People started doing stories about her. And that's when I started noticing her in the news cycle. So I kind of started paying attention because, like I said, I'm always rooting for the people to do better. I'm always rooting for folks like myself to get into an office and prove that they're not going to, you know, mess it up or become dirty and start stealing from the people. But unfortunately, she didn't seem to get the memo. And then after, you know, I guess a year or so, she starts popping up in scandals because of some misappropriation of funds. So I'll let y'all see where that started.
Now developments in South Suburban Dalton. The mayor there is under fire, accused of questionable spending amid concern that the village's bills are not being paid.
The latest developments, Dalton's police cars may be repossessed because of some outstanding loans.
Police cars
Political
repossessed.
reporter Marianne Ahern here now with the very latest for us. Marianne.
Alex and Marianne, good afternoon. Yes, Mayor Tiffany Henyard, she has...
All right, we're going to pause right here. Mary Ann Ahern, okay? These folks, I hate when they dress them all wrong for the background. You could have used a light blue, like a nice light blue color. She would have looked perfect in that. Now she's got, I don't know if these are broken hearts, ripped up roses. I don't know what she got on there. Are they supposed to be lips? What does she have on this? Anyway, I'm sorry. I get, because the colors be throwing me off sometimes. And it's my attention's supposed to be somewhere else. And you put people in stuff like this with the extra big shoulder pads. Anyway. And she might have one of them fake, you know, the fake little shirts that they put like right here, the little fake, it's like a fake shirt. That's what that is. Anyway, I'm sorry. I get carried away, but I just hate when they put them in these horrible outfits. Like, y'all had hours to think about this. You probably had a whole closet full of stuff that could have been put on this lady. It's a travesty.
Dismissed the questions, rather, for months now on how she has spent taxpayer dollars. But adding to the city's troubles, the former police chief is suing the village, saying he was wrongfully terminated.
I am your leader.
At the most recent Dalton Village Board meeting, Mayor Tiffany Henyard berated several members on the Board of Trustees. It's been a months-long battle with various news agencies exposing how Henyard has spent thousands on travel and restaurants while the city's bills are not paid.
I have done a waterman job for city of Dalton. It's been over 4 months and I haven't got paid.
He's not the only one. Now there's concern 6 police cars will be repossessed because
how do you
the city
get the police cars
repoed?
Like, first of all,
another 6 cars from the Public Works Department have overdue loans too. Jason House is a village trustee.
I've received no less than 10 messages from different vendors. Every time I turn them over to the mayor's office, and it goes on. It really falls on deaf ears.
All right, hold on. Before I get to the next little piece of that, the woman is getting the police cars repoed, or was, because this was a few months ago when this story happened. So it sounds like she wasn't doing the greatest job. You know, I'm no politician. I don't really follow a lot of politics like that, but it just sounds like she wasn't doing the greatest job. And if you're getting the police cars repoed, I'm sorry, that's funny to me. Like, you know, regular people get their cars repoed. How are you getting the cop cars repoed? Like, what, did you go to CarMax and get a fleet from CarMax? Or maybe they lease them and then they go put the little paint job on them or whatever, and I guess they got to pay a monthly car note for the police cars. Like, wonder what the insurance is like for that. But anyway, let me keep going here. So far, I just don't really see, like, I didn't see a lot of good press on her once she got in the office. I saw her in her wig or whatever it is she has on her head. It's always, whoever's doing that is, I hope they're getting paid well, because her hair always looks about the same. So either she's touching it up daily or she really stays in that salon. Now, we know it's not her hair, okay? So we can get past that. But I'm just saying, she spends some money on that. And they're mad at her for spending money on Vegas trips. Okay, I get it.
Other
Let's see what else they got to
trustees are
say.
worried as well about Dalton's finances.
We don't even know how much money is in the bank account at the moment. When the last time they shared the information, a few months ago, we were $7 million in debt.
It is on the back of the mayor. We are the legislative body. She wants us to do our job because she say we don't never do our job. Our job is to make sure that the finances is in order, and she's not allowing us to do our job.
The town has paid for billboards to promote the mayor, who actually holds 2 political posts, making close to $300,000 a year. She's also the Thornton Township supervisor. The town has hired a public relations firm to handle questions during this crisis.
Public relations will get paid. A trip to first-class flights to New York and to Las Vegas get paid. But when it comes to things that the town really needs, we're left in the dark and getting people calling and getting no response.
Oh, no.
We, of course, reached out to the Dalton mayor's team. They asked us to send them our questions ahead of time.
And then they never got back.
Replied.
Yeah, always. That's how they do. They never get back to you on that. I sent questions. They never get back to me either. So it gets into the point of basically spending. And I'm going to get in trouble for this next thing, but it seems like they're always targeting, they're always finding black women doing this extra spending thing and flossing a little too much. Now, granted, she's the mayor, so somebody elected her. Somebody thought that she was the best person for the job. So when you get a person in the office and they start acting a fool, you have to also look at their constituents and say, well, this is who wanted this. So, the majority of people wanted this. Now, you can vote someone out of office, but I think at a later point, and it's going to get into it later in this video, is she basically was just ousted. And that's the same thing that happened to that lady in Florida. I forgot what her name was. She was like the state's attorney or something, this other black lady. Now, her case was a little different. She wasn't known for scandals and misappropriation of funds and taking people to Vegas and all that kind of stuff like this lady was. But they kind of got her out without the standard democratic democracy process of the voting or whatever that process is supposed to be, right? So they got her out, and then I think she came back, and I don't know if she won the vote. She was on the ballot. I cannot remember what that lady's name was. But anyway, she ended up on the ballot. I don't know if she won in the re-election thing. I really wasn't following it, but she may have won. She may have won. I think people liked her, that lady. Not talking about this Tiffany Henyard lady. From what I've seen, I just see a whole bunch of people not liking Tiffany Henyard. So I don't know if anybody comes into my feed that's from Illinois or Chicago, Dalton, or any of those places over there. But the news will tell us what the news wants us to know. So I don't know if people really just don't like her or if the news is only telling us bad press about her. I don't know. But every time I see a clip of her, she kind of seems a little angry, a little like overreaching, like she's, like overdoing it, right? Now, here's the thing. If you didn't notice in that last clip, they did mention that she is she has 2 positions. She's the mayor of Dalton and the supervisor of Dalton Township. I'm sorry, mayor of Dalton and the supervisor of Thornton Township. Okay, so I guess that's a small city within another small city. I don't know. I've never been to either one of those places, and honestly, if you can win an election by giving away free gas, that's a pretty damn good campaign idea. Just give them free gas and you can win the election, because that's what apparently she did. She gave away some free gas and then won an election. Nobody seemed to know anything about her policies or politics or where she stood on a lot of this stuff, right? So they just were like, oh, she's pretty and she's giving away gas and stuff. And at that point, a lot of people didn't care about elections. So they're like, man, I don't care who we vote for. It doesn't really matter. We're going to lose either way. That's how people felt, right? So they put this woman in office, and she starts doing what a lot of people do, unfortunately, is find loopholes and ways to spend the money in ways that folks may not approve of. And that's what she did. Now, she was making, personally, six figures. She was making $300,000 a year. And then on top of that, not using her own money, using, I guess the township money to take the business trips. Now, of course, everybody knows about these business trips. You go ahead and you write it down as something, and then you write off the business trip later, or you charge it to something else like a business or whatever. And she was doing that. She's surrounded by advisors. She's not doing any of it by herself. She's got a whole group of treasury people and all of that. So I think the problem is they feel like they've been kind of cut out of the decision making for the money, which I think would be fine. Not fine for them to be cut out, but fine for them to be upset about it. Because really, if you have a job of making sure somebody's doing the right job and spending the money correctly, and they don't let you see the money, you can't do your job. So, that could be a reason to be a little frustrated. But things got a little crazy with this lady. She was already facing a lawsuit for misappropriation of funds. And then, if not to add insult to injury, she ends up in court and basically is getting evicted. Now, if you make $300,000 a year and you're getting evicted, one, either you're living way beyond your means, or two, you just don't know how to pay bills. You don't understand the process of going onto a website or writing a check or whatever it is. But if you make $300,000 a year and you're late on the rent, I don't think you should be running you should be a mayor of anything if you can't pay your rent and you make six figures and not low six figures. Like you at 300, that's okay. That's decent money. So check this out.
New battle on her hands.
She is being evicted for not paying her rent, and now her
Told you,
landlord
she keep her
is
hair
talking
done
about
though.
her
She do
past
that.
tenant troubles.
Dane Placco has the latest on the drama in Dalton.
Mayor Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, are together pulling down well over $300,000 from taxpayers, according to public payroll records. But they haven't paid their rent since August. And now their landlord says she's had enough.
Okay.
Initially, I didn't want to go on camera, but right now I feel like I'm at wit's end.
Yeah, need your money.
I have nowhere else to turn.
I get Janetta Hull says she considered Tiffany Henyard a friend and even did campaign work for the Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor. But things changed in 2021 when she was about to rent out this 3-bedroom, 2-bath home she owns in Dalton to a family.
All right, first of all, that's a house, but it's not no really, really nice house that you can't afford to pay the rent and you make $300,000. But I digress.
And got a late night call from the mayor.
And she's like, hey, this is Mayor Henyard. And I'm like, hi. And then she's like, I heard that you were renting your house. And I said, yeah. And I said, I have somebody that's moving in soon. And she says, no, they can't move in because I want it. And I'm like, excuse me?
Feeling pressured, Hull says she agreed to rent the house to Henyard.
This house is smaller than my house.
And her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, who holds a 6-figure job at the township. Henyard signed the original lease, and on the line asking about her job.
You see here, she only put mayor for employment.
Henyard makes nearly $300,000 as mayor and township supervisor, but is the focus of an ongoing FBI investigation for extravagant spending, questionable contracts, and using tax dollars for personal gain. Hull says things started to unravel this summer when she was forced to raise the rent by $200 to $2,400 a month.
First of all, I don't know if the back looks different, but this don't look like $2,400 really. It is obviously, but this is inflation. This is highway damn robbery. The yard ain't even lined up correctly. The news was coming by to do some Zillow photos or whatever. You got to line up the grass, man. They got a cracked thing in the front on the steps. One of them old rickety ass metal doors, the joint that swing open when it's windy and go fakow, right? That's what they got with this little soft ass bay window that don't even come out. It's just 3 windows next to each other. No windowsill. This ain't $2,400. I don't know. Maybe this back part that I can't see is awesome, and there's a pool and there's all that going on. Maybe, but $2,400 a month. First of all, that's not. I don't think the house is worth that. Secondarily, if you make $300,000 a year and you can't afford a $2,400 a month rent, then you are crap as well. So let's continue.
Because her property taxes went up again.
So with that, I had to equate that into the rent, and Kamal said that he couldn't afford it.
She says Henyard and Woods refused to pay the extra rent in August, then stopped paying altogether. Did they pay for September?
No.
Did they pay for October?
No.
That's why you're trying to get them removed?
Yes.
Hull says not only are the couple thousands of dollars behind in rent, but they also changed the locks and garage door code, so she can't get inside.
If I push and go over there with the locksmith and try to change them back, I think that she's going to probably have me arrested.
So Hull went to court and filed an eviction lawsuit against Henyard and Woods. But Cook County sheriffs have tried and failed to serve that suit, both at the home and Village Hall.
Hold up. How you can't serve this when the woman is in public all the time? You can't serve her? That's bullshit. They talking about this tough. How is it tough to service the mayor? You know where they work every day. That's some BS. That's messed up. That's messed up. We're talking about we can't serve her. What do you mean you can't serve her? She's on TV right now. Go over there to the press conference. She's right there. Jeez. That's funny. Anyway.
Now Hull is paying a process server to track one of them down. What position does this put you in?
A very hard position.
How you got to get a process server for somebody that's on TV every day?
I haven't worked in several months.
What the hell?
I am fearful that I may lose the house.
She says Henyard blocked her months ago, but with all the controversy surrounding Henyard's spending of tax dollars, she wants to send the mayor a message.
At some point, you would have to understand that karma is going to catch up to you. Just pay your rent.
She says even if Henyard and her boyfriend come up with the money, she still wants them out of her house, which is on a month-to-month lease. Now, we reached out to the couple and Henyard's criminal defense attorney, but so far have not received a response.
That's always the end of every story with her is we reached out to some people and we didn't get a response. Now, for those of y'all that just jumping into the channel, if it's your first time here, welcome into Purge the BS, where we purge that BS. And we are talking about some BS right now, talking about Tiffany Henyard's situation over there, where she got rubbed out, no pun intended, but intended. She got rubbed out of her re-election bid for, I guess, the Thornton Township mayor or whatever. And here's the thing, man. She's obviously not, she's not a very responsible person. If you and your boyfriend make $300,000 a year and you cannot pay your rent of $2,400 a year or $2,400 a month, then you're doing something wrong. I mean, I don't know how much stuff costs in Dalton, but it doesn't look like Vegas or LA or New York where shit is dumb expensive. It looks like, standard rural area outside of a major city. I think they're kind of close to Chicago or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know what stuff costs in Dalton, but I'm just basing it on what I know about property values and rent. If you make $300,000 a year, you're more than qualified to get whatever the rent is. Now, they're doing a month-to-month rent. Now, you the mayor of a spot. You haven't even really purchased a resident in the jurisdiction. You don't own a house. You're on a month-to-month lease, meaning you could be out of here next month, but you're the mayor. Seems a little flaky to me, but I don't know, man. I don't know any different. I'm just saying it seems flaky. And the people in that area voted her in because she gave them gas. And believe me, I understand because gas is too damn expensive. But when you vote in someone just based on something small like that and you have no idea what they're really going to do with the position, you get into spots like this where they start misappropriating funds and flying to Vegas. And it took everybody to Vegas. So don't just get mad at Tiffany Henyard. Let's be 100% honest with that. She didn't go to Vegas by herself. And y'all ask questions after the fact, after you got to the damn shrimp buffet and the steak joint and got to ball out in Vegas for a weekend with the buses and all that stuff that she was buying. She was taking the whole staff. So nobody was bugging about it on staff. So I'm not saying she wasn't wrong. I'm just saying don't get mad when the people say, hey, what happened to the money? And you was right there in Vegas with her. You know what I'm saying? That's just my take on it. It's just my take on it. I don't want to offend anybody because I'm not from Dalton. Like I said, I'm not from there. I'm just speaking outsider looking in. Seems like they voted in a person, didn't have a lot of information about the person, and then that person started doing stuff they didn't like, and instead of just waiting for the voting process to take place, the people started to lash out. Now, if you're going to lash out at the mayor, you should have a good reason to. And like I said, I haven't seen any good press on this lady, and I'm wondering if anybody can tell me some good press on this Tiffany Henyard lady. Because all I see is people don't like her. She spends money wrong, and I don't think it's a good look for black women in office when every time they put somebody in office, they kind of start to fit into this mold of messing with the money and doing too much with their hair and nails and da-da-da-da-da, and then people start getting upset, and she's wearing too many outfits, So it's already a target on the back of a black woman in office, I'm telling you right now. Because it's like they don't want them to look good, like too good. They want them to look okay, but they don't want you to look good, like to the point where it's obvious you're spending money on how good you look. They didn't want that. And I don't know what she spends on these wigs and stuff. I don't. But her hair is normally pretty well laid when I've seen her in public. So she's taking good care of the hair. But most recently, she was, there was a whole Democratic caucus, right? That came into, I guess, Chicago over here. See this guy, he's cold as hell. Look at him. He is upset about having to be outside. And they basically, they didn't vote her out. They just made sure she couldn't nominate herself. And I'll let you see this one right here. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. We're doing our midday show here. I know the traffic is low, but you guys are here with me. Anybody that's here with me, thank you all for stopping in. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. This live chats are subscriber only chats on this channel. So I want to make sure that I'm talking to people that want to talk to me, not just the trolls. All right. So nonetheless, let's listen to what Germonte or whatever his name is got to say over here.
Erica and Joe, Tiffany Henyard likes to tell people, quote, "Let me educate you on how this works." Well, tonight you can say she was schooled on how the Democratic caucus works right here in Thornton Township. You can also say that she flunked out because her name is not appearing on the ballot. Folks lined up early and in the code for the Thornton Township Democratic caucus. Everyone outside and those inside the auditorium were here to vote on who will be the Democratic nominees in the township, including the coveted supervisor position. And Tuesday night's caucus left the current supervisor, Tiffany Henyard, fuming.
We didn't run none of this the right way. Illegal. Napoleon.
That's Henyard pleading her case to committeeman State Senator Napoleon Harris. As a committeeman, Harris set the rules Tuesday night, the first caucus in Thornton Township in nearly 30 years. The person who says this seems to be outdated, you say what to that?
People in Thornton Township may be new to caucuses because they haven't had them in a while, but this has been the tradition for many other townships around the state.
And those in this room came out to see if Henyard would get the nomination, an uphill battle for the controversy surrounding her administration. Henyard was not in favor of the caucus.
I will be suing everybody tomorrow. This is illegal.
This is illegal in your favor?
Illegal.
Okay. So let's talk about it. I mean, your concern is you brought people in to be bused.
All the people outside. They let one person in.
Henyard used Thornton Township buses to transport supporters, mostly seniors. Yet many of the supporters did not get inside the packed auditorium of 600 people.
This is a
Well, hold on a second. So there wasn't anybody else that was a supporter that was already in there? Like that drove themselves to this thing? She had to go pick everybody up in the bus and then charge it to the Thornton Township? And this is how she gets in trouble. This is how she gets in trouble. You just used the community's whatever funds or resources to go bus in people just so they could go make some noise at a place that you should have already had representation. It probably didn't go over well when everybody showed up in buses and yelling and all that outside. And they probably said, you know what? We don't want all that ruckus in here. could you take that somewhere else? And that's probably what ended up happening because they seem to be, she's very upset that they didn't get in. But it seems like people don't like her. So you know what they say, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. If they don't like you, why are you so pressed to be in this office? And I guess the answer to that is because it gives you the opportunity to mess with the money. But go mess with somebody else's money. These people don't want you. They got together in that super tight, probably non-air conditioned high school gym and basically said they don't even want you to have the spot on the ballot to be revoted in. Now, I don't know if that's democratically correct, but it definitely says something. If you're one of those people that decided you don't want her to be in there, there was nobody that said the opposite. Because according to the law or whatever the procedure is, you can nominate anybody for an office within a caucus meeting. And then somebody would have to second it and so on and so forth. So what that means is nobody in there, even without her being in there, nobody in there was willing to say, hey, I nominate Tiffany Henyard. So I don't think she should be trying to run for office anyway. Them people don't like you. And when people don't like you, they're willing to do certain things to get rid of you. And we see how that works out. So I don't think that that's a smart move. Now, if that's her only way of getting money is from utilizing the, town's funds and stuff like that, well, that's a sick con lady. You know what I'm saying? It's a very sick one. But don't be surprised if people don't like you. Like, people don't like her. It is what it is. People don't like people. Some people don't like some people. And I don't know why people be trying to force themselves on folks that don't like them. Like, they don't like you. Anyway. They might not even, I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Been going on way before me. And it's just, I'm exercising my rights as a committeeman to hold a caucus.
And it is legal. When it was all said and done, the caucus voted, and Henyard did not get the nomination.
See?
Yet listen to who the caucus placed on the ballot.
The Democratic slate that would represent Thornton Township at the April 1st consolidated election reads as follows. For supervisor, Napoleon Harris.
Henyard
They
left
seem happy
emotional and upset knowing her name will not appear on the April ballot, to the pleasure of many in the room.
Like I said, they don't like her. So what's she pressed about?
I think it's very unfair that I don't get a chance to make the decision of who I want where.
And who did you want to vote for?
I wanted to vote for Tiffany.
She came late, and then she had an attitude because they couldn't get in.
Henyard can only become a write-in candidate, which her supporters say is not impossible.
I think enough people know her name to write her name in, and I believe we could still win it.
This guy, he's one of her security guys, so he wasn't just some random dude saying that. But it just seems like...
Now, to break it down, tonight's caucus was essentially the primary election, and other townships held their caucuses as well on this Tuesday. Now, since she did not win the nomination, Henyard cannot run as an independent, so her only option at this hour is a write-in candidate. Reporting live in Homewood tonight, I'm Jermont Terry, CBS News, Chicago.
All right, Jermont. Thank you, Jermont, for your amazing take on that. So here's the thing, guys. She is not liked. Why are we forcing ourselves into places that we're not liked? Like, if people don't like you, why would you want to be, knowing that they don't like you, why would you want to force yourself into that environment and then be sitting there for people to just keep not liking you? Like, the U.S. is big. I'm just going to be honest. The United States is a really big place, right? So if you live in a place and you've already held some public office and you've already got some experience, you could just move somewhere where people might like you. Like, these people they don't like her. Could anybody, like I said, if I get anybody in the chat that's from Thornton Township or Dalton or whatever, I don't know this lady. That's all I'm saying. I don't know her. All I know is that all I see is bad press on her. And as you can see in the shot above, that's that same dude again. This is a whole different interview that I'm about to play for you. But why would you get nothing but bad press and keep pressing at people? Like, to me, it seems embarrassing. It's like, yo, if they don't want you, then they don't want you. Let them not want you, and then move on into either another field in politics or whatever you want to do. But if people don't like you, it's going to be hard to get reelected. You know, and they're not going to write you in. They're not going to do that. People are lazy. They're not going to write nobody. If you're not on the ballot, you ain't on the ballot. Simple as that. Now, anybody that's stopping into the channel, thank you for tuning in to Purge the BS. Doing a quick Saturday special edition here on this Tiffany Henyard lady, who I've been watching because like I said, in the beginning part of this podcast, I'm always rooting for the brown people. I always want the best. When I see somebody get elected into office, historically, the first woman black this or first man black that, and even if they're not the first, just being that, create a better narrative for black people in general is a thing that I would like them to do when they're in these offices. I don't want you to go in there and be hood rat, spending the money, taking Vegas trips, keeping your hair and nails tight to the point where everybody's wondering where the money's going. That's not what we wanted. Or at least I think that's not what the people wanted. But she gave them free gas, so can you blame them? Gas expensive. So after the Democratic caucus thing, which hadn't been done in 50 years. So that is a little interesting. That's why she probably felt like it was targeted, but it was targeted. They don't want you. So that's the target. They got the target. The target was you, Miss Tiffany Henyard lady, and they got you. And now the best chance you have to be able to keep doing what you was doing is to have enough people write your name in on a ballot, which we know is not going to happen. And you're going to have to turn in your keys to the mayoral house as well as your new wigs. I'm sorry. And if you look at her face, like if you picture it without the wig, she got a really round head. Like that's not to say anything, but she has a really round, symmetrical kind of face. So she could probably go out to do some Maybelline commercials or, you know what I'm saying? She ain't got to be nobody's mayor. If they don't like you, like go find something else to do. You got $300,000 a year. You haven't paid your rent in months. That means you got a couple stacks stacked up. Go elsewhere. Stop forcing yourself upon people in a political scheme. It makes me think that you're up to something. At least it makes me think they up to something. I don't know about anybody else, but if a person's just, look, they done told you 1,000 times they don't even want you, and you still pressing, then what are you really pressing that hard for? What's really going on? So anyway, let me see here. How much of this am I trying to? All right, I ain't going to play this whole thing, all right? She basically rebuts what they talking about. And if you're just getting to the channel, make sure you throw me a thumbs up in the chat. If you're not a subscriber, you do need to be a subscriber to chat. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you come in here with the best of intentions. I'm not going to talk bad about Tiffany Henyard. I don't know this woman as a person. What I do know is she's got nothing but bad press. And because of that, she's always on the negative side of the headlines. And I've been wondering why. And I need somebody to explain to me why there are people. Now, granted, the two guys behind her, those are security guys, so they have to be there. I don't know why the news wanted to get a statement from the security guy because you already know whose side he's going to be on. This woman pays his check, signs his checks every week or whatever they get paid, right? So why ask the security guy? And then the security guy, yeah, we're going to have her write in. No, you're not. And you notice none of them people out there said that either. The one lady was like, I want to have the right person to vote for. But she wasn't talking about she going to write nobody in. The people have spoken. They don't like you. But anyway, so the headline, if you can't see it, is Tiffany Henyard pledges April ballot bid despite caucus defeat. I don't like the word caucus. Pause. So anyway, let's listen to her little rebuttal, the first one. I got two of them. Because like I said, I'm looking for the silver lining in this lady's situation. I'm looking for the silver lining in that track.
Town, village, city, and also park and library board. This is the process. People are entitled to have their opinion on who they object to, and then you have to plead your case before the electoral board.
But they did that, though. They took a nomination. They just didn't say your name, baby.
Definitely not. I will be on the ballot come April.
And so can you explain how you expect to get on the ballot as a write-in or some other type of way?
The people will put me on the ballot. So we're doing the legal routes, which you guys heard me speak to yesterday.
The people will put her on the ballot. That's what she's saying.
Further in terms of the objections today, why you have your supporters, your allies, challenging supervisor candidates?
Well, I don't have anyone challenging anyone. Everybody is have their opinion to challenge whoever they like, and everybody gets the opportunity to due process. So I'm gonna let them speak this evening.
I don't
and they
know
can
what they're
tell
talking
you,
about, though.
how the process goes. As it relates to you running for office, you got to make sure your paperwork's tight. Paperwork's not tight, people can challenge you and say, hey, I want to challenge this person because they don't have enough signatures, or they forgot to file a certain form. Things of that nature is what people challenge one another on this evening.
So you're saying that you didn't ask allies, supporters to challenge the various candidates. It was on their own.
Yes, it was on their own. I do not have to do that. Everyone knows this process, and anyone can challenge anybody. As you can see, you saw people willing and dealing today. I've checked to people that was trying to knock someone off the ballot, but then they wanted to save them.
All right, maybe I'm missing something. Hold on a second. If there was a caucus going on and somebody felt that they wanted her to be nominated, they could have just said it. That's what she just said. Like, anybody could nominate anybody, right? So if they didn't nominate you, I mean, I guess, you being there, of course, you'll nominate yourself, but that doesn't mean you'll win an election because you'll be the only person voting for yourself. So that's stupid. So if they don't want you, why are you trying to be there so bad? Somebody answer that. Somebody answer that. And if you're new to the channel, like I said, go ahead and throw me a thumbs up in that chat. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Let's keep the conversation going. I've been very nice to this lady, because I was hoping that she would be different than the stereotypical person within this office. But it seems like the first thing that happens is the scandals. They start talking about money. They start doing all that kind of stuff. And the next thing you know, she's upset because she can't keep the position. Well, part of public office is people have to actually like the job you're doing. So if you're not doing a good job and people don't want you to do that job, then why are you trying to force yourself to be back at the job? That just seems, I don't know, man. I don't know. She keep her eyebrows nice, though. Like I said, I'll give credit where it's due. The woman's relatively well put together. And she seems like, if you see her in public speaking, she seems like she knows what she's talking about sometimes. So I can see why people voted for her initially. But if the people decide after that vote, 4 years later, that they don't want you to be there no more, they saying it's all over the news, then they have a caucus, make sure that you don't even get a nomination, then why start a legal battle after that? Go find something else to do. That's all I'm saying. Let me let her finish her little statement here.
Your own two eyes.
And I know yesterday you told us you felt like this whole process has been a machine of politics. Do you think that's continued today? I know you objected to
it. Is politics, democracy. They don't want you.
I feel like that's also on display.
I think politics will always be on display as it relates to government, because people play politics with the residents' minds and with their money.
Isn't that what she was doing?
As it relates to last night's meeting, you've mentioned that Thornton Township.
I don't know, man.
Can you give a timeline, a deadline in terms of that, and how will that impact residents?
So when I mentioned that last night, I also stated that I'm waiting on legal to basically direct us on our options. As you know, I stated we are without insurance because 2 trustees did not show up to do their job, which is come and vote and make sure the people had the resources.
Special shouts, Fred. Stop it in the chat.
So what does that mean? People jobs are at stake. If we shut down, we
and
got
you're
over
right, too.
some employees.
Yeah, it's the bag. She wants the bag. The bag is in the seat. You're right.
That's why you still see us constantly operating, despite us not having insurance.
And when it comes to the government functions, I know you mentioned you're still figuring out the police chief with Dalton. Will he have a job tomorrow?
Well, currently right now, I'm only speaking to Township, and as it relates to the electoral board. Any more questions? All right, so I'm going to let Michael Smith come up, and you can hear from him on the questions you asked me about other people.
All right, now I'm going to get to another clip because the dude, Michael Smith, he comes up and basically what he says is the entitled process that they're supposed to have as far as nominations was thwarted by the fact that they didn't let her folks in so that somebody could nominate her by name so that she could be voted on. So she still could have not been nominated, but because nobody in there nominated her and the people that would have nominated her, including herself, were all outside. Now, I heard the old lady say she showed up late and she had an attitude. That's not the best way to get in there. But if a democratic process was messed up, all right, cool. You got a little legal kind of recourse you can take, right? And she's going to do that. She seems like the type that just won't go away easy. You know, like when you get something stuck on your hand, like some tree sap, and you just can't get, you try to rub it, you try to wash it off, it just won't go nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. Just like Fred said in the chat. That seat pays $250,000 a year, to which the chick can't even pay her damn rent, but that's a whole nother conversation. How you not able to pay your rent when there's folks out here making $15 an hour that's paying $2,000 a month? We're not even going to go into that. I'm very disappointed in her with that because she ended up having like hood bitch problems. You know what I'm saying? Not paying your rent, stealing money, you know, all that kind of stuff, like hood problems. Getting over, you got your boyfriend in the house. You're not even married to the dude. Y'all just in there. Just in there. Okay. Her paperwork was wrong. But see, that's what she was saying. And the thing was that how did they know her paperwork was wrong if they didn't let her in? Which is a great question. But if that's the case, even if her paperwork was right, she still wouldn't have got that nomination. So why just leave them people alone? That's all I'm saying. Like if they don't want you, they don't want you, baby. I'm sure there's somebody that wants you. They don't want you. And you over there trying to force feed yourself, you're trying to diddy yourself up into their lives and put baby oil on the shit. That's not what we're doing here. Let them people have who they want. If they want that man Napoleon, which is funny because if you say he has a Napoleon complex, it would be 100% true, but he's tall, so it's weird. But if Napoleon's going to run it, let Napoleon run it. Go find another job. That's all I'm saying. If you get fired from your job, how often do you get fired from your job and you're like trying to keep going back to the same job? And they're like, yo, we do not want you here. If you show back up, we're calling security and the police will be here. Don't come back. That's what they're saying to this woman. But she just won't let up. She won't let up. Now she's talking about the whole situation is election rigging. Yeah. And thank you for the context in the chat there, Fred, too. I appreciate it. Because I don't know the lady personally, and I don't live there, so I'm not able to see anything other than what the news spits out and I get in my area. And everybody knows that the news is filtered through certain things, so that's part of the reason why I don't believe everything. Because I'm like, you're only going to give me the negative press because that's the news. So if she is doing anything positive other than putting up billboards and things like that and keeping this hair tight, look at her hair. And I done shown you all 3 clips. Her hair looked pretty damn good in each one. You know what I'm saying? And you know it ain't her hair. Her hair don't grow that length or that color. We all know it. And that's not disrespectful. It's just saying we know fake. Okay? That hair is cap. Literally cap. You understand what I'm saying? So... but she keeps it tight. She keeps it tight. So I'll give her that. But nonetheless, so she comes into the thing now. They got a whole situation now going on in Dalton where she's basically saying, or Thornton Township is what I'm saying, is she's blaming this whole situation on election rigging. So I'm going to let y'all hear her little piece on the election rigging part. I don't think it's election rigging. I think if somebody wanted you in there, they would have said your name whether you was in the building or not. That's what I think. If you that person and they want you like that, that you don't have to be there for them to say it. There would have been at least 10 people that would have felt the same way, and they would have said aye or whatever the voting situation is in the caucus, okay? But yeah, let's let Tiffany say her little piece here. Hold on. And if you're just jumping on the channel for the first time, welcome and thank you. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. And make sure you jump in the chat. Give us a thumbs up in the chat. Let us know where you're hitting us from. And we'll talk about that at another time. But let's let Tiffany do her little speech here. Just hold on.
This is not about anything else. So if I decline to answer, I'm strictly talking about the caucus at this moment. And then y'all will get more interviews out of me. As long as y'all good to me, I'll be good to you. I have no issues. I just wanted people to say my side of the story and not just paint me as bad news, because it's not the truth, and y'all been witnessing it yourselves at the caucus.
I'm not sure of that, but okay.
What's going on and been going on. So I pray that you pay attention to other people's, I don't want to say drama, but situations.
Was it rigged? What happened Tuesday night?
Yes, it's election rigging at its finest.
Uh-oh, that's a bold statement.
Got there at about
better prove that.
4:30. Some got there right before 5. When we tried to enter into the building, they told us we cannot come in because they had a party going on at 5 o'clock. Residents from throughout Thornton Township showed up in drones. We had buses out there, cars. It was super cold. I know I ran into you outside, and I was out there with them. They didn't even let me in. So when I did try to go in originally around 5, they told me they had a party and we cannot enter into the building. I asked, can you please let the residents inside the building? They said, no, they have a party. I said, but this is our residents. Let them in. They said no. They did not register for the party. I felt that was so disheartening because
no, they didn't RSVP is what they said. They're not on the list.
To let them in. It was cold outside.
Okay, it was cold. Go put it back in the warm bus.
Was your name ever on the ballot? Did they ever actually, say Tiffany Henyard and they vote on it, or no?
No one had the opportunity to basically be a nominee, and that's where they messed up at.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie, and from the pit of hell, and the devil is a liar. They had the opportunity. She explained the process in the previous video that anyone can nominate anyone, right? So if no one said your name in a room full of people, then that means they didn't want you. I mean, I don't get what's so hard about this. Why? $250,000. That's why. That's why she pressing for it. She want that seat back, boy. That's a bag for you.
Wants to run for office, the opportunity to nominate themselves, let alone a slate, let alone anybody in the room can say, hey,
anybody in the room.
I nominate myself for supervisor, I nominate myself for clerk, but they didn't give anybody the opportunity to do that. He only nominated himself and his slate, which was wrong. And I was fighting for my people to get in the building because it was cold outside.
How come nobody stood up to nominate you?
Exactly. How come nobody stood up?
I nominated myself.
Is that what you were saying to Napoleon Harris from the board? We couldn't hear you.
Yes. Somebody got it on tape. I had saw the video, and also my team have it on the tape. If you want the footage, we'll give it to you. But he did not acknowledge anyone or anybody's demand. I was the only one that stood up to him. As you guys know, I am a fighter. I would not be bullied. I would not let people do voter suppression. That was the biggest voter suppression I've ever seen. And we talk about history, right? Every time we talk about history, we're talking about people that fought for the right to vote. But yet, they didn't have the right to vote this time. Why? Why is that? Why mute the votes? Why mute the voices? Why mute the residents?
I feel like the residents were heard, though. They didn't want you.
He would have let them in, but he didn't, because it was my base that was outside. Because we couldn't.
Because y'all was late.
He said, and I quote, "We are not letting anybody in until 6:30." 6:30 came. We were still outside.
All right.
So when
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm trying my best, but I smell bullshit everywhere in this story. First of all, if you weren't letting nobody in till 6:30, then how was anybody in there? Okay. And if somebody did tell you that, and you see 1,000 people already in there, you're gonna say, well, why do I have to wait till 6:30? And there's 1,000 people already in there. It comes back to the first thing she said. The people that she brought down there did not register with the party to be part of the caucus. So really, I don't think they should be in there voting. I don't know. I'm no politician, but if you bring in some randos into an environment to nominate you, and those people are not necessarily even listed to be there, then maybe they shouldn't let you in. You there to create. You know what I'm saying? You there to create havoc. Like, that's what you came with. You brought folks that were angry outside. Apparently they were late. Apparently she had an attitude. And it's as simple as that. Special shouts to Deborah jumping in the chat. Thank you for jumping in the chat. Appreciate you. And the people were heard, Deborah. You're right. I heard them. I saw the first clip. They were, when she was leaving out, wasn't nobody like, no, don't let Tiffany go. They were like, get the out of here. It was a resounding roar, if you want to be honest about it. So, like they said earlier, I keep asking, why would you want a job where people don't want you to, they don't like you there? But that $250,000 a year paycheck, oh yeah, you're not going to find that anywhere else. Tiffany Henyard doesn't look like, other than politics, she'd be out there, she's not a doctor or anything like that. She'd probably just be making a regular check, doing some HR or something. She looks like the HR lady. The HR lady that's like sort of cute, but that she's snaky. You know what I'm saying? And that's right. She got outplayed at her own game. And now she's trying to play a legal game to like make that illegal. But even if they find that it was illegal, do the vote again, she's still not going to get that nomination. So it's a total waste of time and resources and my news cycle. They just going to have her in the news talking about it, and then nothing's going to change. You're not getting on that, Tiff. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. You're not getting on it. It's not happening. Them people don't like you, and it's not without cause, from what I've heard. And if you've done them folks like it says that you've done them, and they have decided they don't like you, I think you should push on to another town or find another line of work. She got a couple of dollars. She got a little boyfriend or whatever. I don't know where he's at. But go ahead and just push on, lady. So let me let her keep talking. Like I said, I'm going to give her her moment because she didn't get to talk in the other thing. And I'm hoping to hear some good information, but she ain't saying nothing. I smell a whole lot of bullshit. What do you mean you didn't know anybody else was in there? There was 1,000 people in there, and there was a high school gym. It wasn't even that big. You can hear them people in there. You can hear the speakers. Like if a guy's talking on a microphone, you hear all of that. So you're not going to tell me that you didn't know this thing was already going on when y'all got there. These Negroes was late. They was late because she had to gather everybody up, get the buses together, get the caravan together. She had to do all of that, and she showed up late. And then the people that she brought weren't even listed on the party that was having the event. That's why they didn't let you in, Tiff. And that's why she was like, they didn't even let me in. Because, yeah, she's a registered member of the party, of course. But she was late and came with an attitude, like the old lady said in the beginning. And they don't play that. You don't get to show up late trying to make an entrance, and you show up with an attitude. And everybody's just supposed to let you in with all these folks that you done bust in that's all probably cold, and they're going to be raucous when they get in here. Ain't nobody got time for that shit. But anyway. Tiff, keep talking.
Because people let me through the line. That's the only way I got in the building. Other than that, I would have been outside still with the people.
An attorney for Mr. Harris says you were not qualified because you didn't have a certified assessor on your ticket. What do you say to that?
That's not true. How would anybody know that if you didn't give me the opportunity to make my nominations? People can't just assume what they think I have. I have to make the nominations on the floor before someone can say that I didn't have something.
Hold on a second. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? I know Fred in the chat caught that. She didn't say that she had her paperwork together. She said they didn't allow me to, they made a determination before I showed them the paperwork. But the question was, did you have what you needed? Or that, it wasn't even a question. The statement was that the reason why things were the way that they were is because she didn't have the signature. She didn't have what she needed, right? So if that's the case, then our answer should have been, I did have all of it, but they didn't let me show it to them. She didn't say that. She said, how would they know what I didn't have if I never showed it to them? So that's not specifically saying that my paperwork was straight. And it seems like she was trying to force herself into the situation. She brought a whole bunch of people on buses. None of them had cars. Like you just go scrap up some people at Home Depot and tell them to come down there? I don't know. But she bust them in, which shouldn't have been necessary. If you have supporters in a town, some of them would have their own cars. They would drive themselves there, and they would have been the voice of those people while they were inside of that caucus. And nobody spoke up her name. They don't want you, baby girl. They don't. They don't. Now, I know you spend a lot of time on your edges in the morning, but I'm going to need you to spend more time thinking about this. You're about to enter into a legal battle with a place that don't want you. So even if you win the legal battle, you might win some money, which is, it seems like that's all she wants. She want to win some money. Because other than that, I wouldn't even want to mess with them people. If you don't like me like that, like you don't really like me like that, why I want to press myself all up in you? No diddy. You know what I'm saying? Why would I want to press all up in your situation and y'all do not like me? Screw y'all then. I'll go find some people that like me. Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. I forgot who said that quote, but that's a powerful ass quote right there. Tiffany needs to go where she's celebrated. Go be a hair model. Go do hair shows. Go do that. Let the hair people do your hair, and you go make your money over on that side. And they won't even care about you doing the Vegas trips and all the stuff you did. They'll let you come right on in with your little brown skin and your edges. Okay? So I'm going to let her speak a little bit more, but I'm just saying she's spitting stuff that don't make sense to me, and I don't even live there. So if I'm able to say, well, that doesn't make sense, I can only imagine what the people that live there are like. And she's calling these press conferences. When they came down there and did the Democratic caucus thing, she was down there, but the press was already down there because they knew that she was getting ousted. The press don't like her. I mean, you know what? The press does like her because she gets bad press. So it keeps the situation, like it keeps it in the news cycle. It makes it exciting. So they like her because she gives them something to talk about. Matter of fact, she's giving me something to talk about. So in a way, I kind of like her. And like I said, she is not out here necessarily trying to harm folks. She's definitely getting over. But I don't see her like taking away people's housing. I mean, I heard the other story about how she told the lady not to rent to somebody else. But if another person had that kind of agreement, I'm sure they could have rented another house. And so I'm not going to go too hard on her on that one. Okay? Not this time. All right, Tiffany, let's edge it up.
It's not true.
What's next? How do you fight it?
So we will be in court. This is a legal battle. Everybody has been calling us saying they're going to stand with Tiffany Henyard.
Who's everybody?
I appreciate that.
Not the people that was in there.
They're going to stand with me because people like righteousness. They don't like this wrong way of dictatorship for government. That is not how you take over things. It was a hostile takeover. And the media was all out there. Y'all saw it firsthand. No one should ever get the opportunity to sit there and be a dictator in a community where you govern everybody. And that's why I told...
Sounds like that's what she was doing, though.
That he's a coward. He did not want to face me head up. He knew that I was going to dominate in that room. And that's why he did not allow my residents inside of the building.
What do you say to the allegations from Nikita Cloud that you tried to disrupt the event by mentioning yourself possibly a bomb threat, or the allegation that Mr. Price called and tried to cancel the event?
So, to people that's got all these false accusations, false statements.
Did you see my man's face in the corner? He's like, what?
I am suing because that is not true. Be able to back up what you report. And that's what I tell everybody. Everybody using my name and my face for views and clicks. But no one got facts. Everything y'all been doing has been smear campaign. And I have a problem with that. And that's why rarely I come out and I speak with you guys, because you don't want the fact check. That's one thing I love about Nate. Nate came and sat down with me. He fact checked. We give him the information, he go check it. He don't just run a story just because. And that's why I ask all y'all to do, at least be fair in the reporting. Because people look up to your stations. You are news. Northwest, East, South.
Oh, she's calling out the media real quick if you're not catching that. So, like I said, all I see is bad press on the lady. She seems to be saying that that's a skewing that they're doing. They're doing the skewing. Is that true? Like I said, I don't know. But if you look in my comment section, everybody seems to be saying she didn't have the paperwork. She's only doing it for the bag. The community isn't a big fan of her. So it sounds like the process might have been a little messed up. But the result was people showed her that they didn't like her. So if you're just jumping onto the channel, welcome to Purge the BS. Make sure that you like and subscribe. This is a subscribers only chat. Our lives are always subscribers only. So make sure you subscribe so you can be part of the chat, part of the conversation. Like I said, I want to talk to the people that want to talk to me. We don't do this for the trolls. We do this for the conversation. So, I mean, like I said, I see what she's saying in a principle sense. Like, yeah, they didn't follow the rules that you would think were set, but why go into a legal battle over it when they already didn't want you there? No. I'm hoping she'll justify it. But she did say that some of the allegations that she called it a bomb threat and all that kind of stuff were totally untrue. So, somebody may have been lying. Somebody.
The news. But yet, you guys are reporting off of drama. I don't like it. It's not a reality show, but y'all making it as that.
Do you know anything about tomorrow's meeting with Township Electoral Board trustees?
For here?
Right at 10 o'clock.
Yes, we have that at 10 a.m. I will be here.
I got to check that out.
File for a independent or a political party. So people challenge their whatever it is in there. They challenge them, and on that day they get the opportunity to be heard before the electoral board.
Will you do a writing candidacy or?
I'll be on the ballot.
Are you a part of any of those challenges tomorrow?
I am not.
So you're not in the meetings. Hold on. Like I said, she literally just said that there's a whole meeting that's going to go on where people can air their grievances and make additional nominations, right? But she also in the same sentence said she's not going to any of that stuff. So why are you even talking? Are you sending somebody else to speak on your behalf? Maybe she's sending this tall old black guy in the back, because this dude looks serious. The one in the top right corner over there, he been looking so serious. He reminds me of my dad or my grandpops, like when they get the arms folded situation going and be in the corner just listening to you lie and they just letting you dig a hole. That's what he looks like. He looks like he's literally getting ready to reach out and just smack her on the back of the neck or something. Like, shut up. But anyway, so you're telling us about this thing that's going on and you're not even going to be there, and she'll probably show up outside and be protesting or whatever. I'm over that. Don't be protesting. Let the people, if they don't want you, they don't want you. Like, I don't get it.
Can you explain what that means and when that could happen?
Well, that's something exclusively for Channel 7. So that's why I told you before we stood here that it would strictly be about the caucus.
How do you feel about the decision to have a caucus as opposed to a primary?
I think they took the right away for the people. And that right then, every single time, we always had a primary in Thornton Township. When Frank Zuccarelli was the supervisor, he always had a primary because over 10,000 people come out to vote in that election. And I felt that the people was stripped of that right. Whereas they created a caucus, and now a handful of people get to come and pick township government. I just don't see how that's fair.
First of
but
all,
if that's the rules, we will follow the rules.
All right. I don't think that gym was full of a handful of people. There was a bunch of folks in there. And if any of them could have nominated anybody, I think that there was more than a diverse swath of the population in there, that if people liked you in a general sense, in a popular, majority, somebody would have said, hey, I know Tiffany's not here, but I'm going to nominate her, her edges, and her wig for the whatever position, and then let people vote on it. And nobody did that. So what is this about again? Meanwhile, there's wars going on overseas, Tiffy. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more going on in the city than you trying to gouge the city for money for not letting you be on the ballot. Because that's all it's going to come down to, is you're just going to want money for not being on the ballot. But you wasn't going to win anyway. She said she's going to step in the room. I would have took over that room. Really? I don't think so. Not from what I saw. I think you'd have came in there and got embarrassed. You'd have got booed off the stage, is what it looks like. Nobody was trying to hear it. When you were asked to leave or when you left, they were happy to see you go. Push on, Tiffy, push on. That's all I'm saying. All right, let me let her keep her little thing going here.
But I still think that people should be able to go to the ballot and people should have ballot access. I just feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you deciding
But that's
not to
fine.
talk about essential township services that are provided with the greater media group here today? That would
I just saw me talk about that, and I talk every single time I have a special meeting. I literally sit here and talk about what's going on every single time. And it's your job to now piece it all together. So when we say something, they say something, now you go fact check it. But no one does that. I put 4 years in for everything else. Check out the information that's being put out, but no one's doing it. That's why I gave y'all the emails. I gave you the facts, because they put information out, and it's all false. It's not even true.
We'd like to be able to have the factual information about these services to show to our readers and our viewers.
And that's why we gave it to you guys. We gave you exactly that. We gave you the information. So if you have more questions, please, by all means, send an email. Keith Price is my point of contact. Y'all can reach out to him, and he will definitely respond. He also have interview with several of you guys when I'm not here. He know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions about the caucus? No? Okay, go ahead, Kate. You got anything you want to say about your letter?
Excuse me. First of all, I want to thank all of you all for coming in. I deeply appreciate it. I appreciate some of the stories I've been seeing ran lately. I want to
Yo, why did they just zoom in on his face so damn crazy like that? What is wrong with them? Cameraman, do your work. Thank you. Jeez, that just scared the hell. It was like,
the DOT organization, Democrats of Thornton Township, which stated that they would not open the doors until 6:30. I will be getting you all that letter. I didn't print that out. My biggest problem with the caucus was the fact that there were people on the inside that was not from Thornton Township.
Okay.
There was children on the inside yelling and voting. There were
hold on a second. Yelling and voting? Children on the inside yelling and voting. That's the problem. Okay. Was the problem that they were yelling, or the problem that they were voting? Or the problem that they were children? I don't know, man. I don't know. This whole thing to me is a ruse. It really is. Like, get out the way. For whatever the people in Dalton and Thornton Township really want to do, get out the way, Tiffy. We got plenty of other things you can do. You know, worst comes to worst, you can always start an OnlyFans. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying people do that.
We never had the opportunity to properly vet anybody that was in that party. They let people in from 4 o'clock through side doors, and whoever else was in there, many of those people did not live in Thornton Township, should not have been in the building participating in the caucus. That's why I said it was rigged. And obviously, they allowed this. That room should have been cleared, and then people should have started being registered in for the caucus. We had computers on site so that we could check people that would be registering, making sure that they were able to participate in the caucus. Mike Smith wasn't allowed to do that. I wasn't allowed to do that. So essentially they chose to leave everybody that they knew was basically supporting Super Mayor Henyard outside in the cold.
First of all, stop calling her Super Mayor.
Fair is fair.
What'd she really do?
People would have had the opportunity to participate.
Super Mayor.
And we would have lost. We could have took that.
That's dumb.
But to be cheated in such a way, such a slimy way, I expect more from an NFL player who competed on the highest level. Compete in politics on the highest level. He couldn't beat us. We had the crowd outside. You all saw it. Just report the truth. Anybody got a question for me?
So is the truth? Nah, man. I'm not inclined to believe that because I have people in my comments that say different. And I saw the news report, and the first person was like, yeah, they were late. And everybody's talking about everybody was entering in through different doors. Then how come none of y'all was in there? None? According to what she said, it would have only taken one person stepping up and speaking out. So that means if y'all would have had one person in there that liked her or wanted her, then she would have been nominated. Y'all bust everybody in at the same time. Y'all got there at the same time late. Now, somebody might have told them, hey, the doors don't open till 6:30. But a minute ago, they said they got there at 4:30 or 4:30. So if the doors weren't open till 6:30, but you already there at 4, somebody should have been able to get in. That's all I'm saying. Somebody should have got in. Let this guy talking that old DJ Khaled looking ass. Cool. All right, what else we got? Who else we got? Oh, this guy.
I want to speak in regards to the rules. The rules were not provided to any of the candidates beforehand to understand any of the rules that the caucus was going to do. Secondly,
Hold up, you're in politics and you don't know any of the rules of the caucus? Well, maybe this guy's not in politics, but super mayor, which to me that sounds dumb. Don't call nobody a super mayor, male or female. You're not super. What'd you really do for the people? You want to be a super mayor, like Superman had to do things for man. And when I say man, I mean like people. I don't mean man like men and males. So you can't be a super mayor if you're not doing super shit. So let's not call her that until you show me what she's actually doing for the people that people really like and has benefited the community in a positive manner. That's all I'm saying. Stop giving people titles and stuff that they haven't really earned.
they targeted and limited the voters of the entire Thornton Township. They wanted DOT members, which is Democrats of Thornton Township, which is clearly against the caucus rules.
Hold up.
When you read the caucus guide lets you know that if you are a Democrat and you have voted in the March 20th primary, you are able to come in and to take part in that caucus. They ruled that out, as well as they issued badges to individuals to come in that were a part of the Democrats of Thornton Township. I also want to lay the fact that...
Is she a Democrat? Yeah, she's a Democrat. So if the Democrats of Thornton Township are represented, and she is Thornton Township or looking to be Thornton Township's supervisor, isn't that the representation that she's supposed to have? Is the people from that party making that vote or being available to make that vote? I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't make no sense to me. It seems like the people that were there were supposed to be there. The folks that she brought, who knows where she found them, that they didn't have their own vehicles or any other means to get there other than her busing them in. That always looks funny to me when you gotta bring everybody that's on your side. Then I don't really know how genuine that is, just being honest. But all right, let's let this dude talk his. Here's the thing. When you got this little bit of hair, just keep it, go all the way down, bro. I don't know why he's got it at like a 0.1. Just let it be. Just be that. You know what I'm saying? Fred, you got it, man. It's a lot of bullshit, right? So why are they wasting the media time and the resources with a legal case when she's not going to win an election? She's not, even if she was to be put on the ballot, she's not going to get nothing. All they're going for is money. That's it. That's the only outcome you're going to get from this. And if you really want to be a leader of the people, you want to be a leader of the people, you got to do things for the people, not just because you got to pay, DJ Khaled in the back over there and this guy. You know what I'm saying? And like the news said, and like Fred said in the chat, they had the caucuses that night. Everybody got information and emails and all types of stuff. It just looks like, on the surface, because I wasn't there, it looks like she went to gather up a bunch of folks. She did that. She brought them down there. She was late. None of the people she brought were listed as RSVPs for the event, other than her individually, which is why she was able to get in there after whatever happened at the door. So she got in there, and at that point, she's the only person in there, and it was probably too late to nominate herself. Because she showed up late. Nobody likes you. Go somewhere. That's all I'm saying. Go be a Republican or something. I don't know. They might take you. Go be that. And you're probably right, too. The people probably did get paid to come down. That's why they didn't come in their own cars. They had to be bussed in. Like, if I want to go somewhere, I'm going to hop in my car and go. I don't need you to bring a bus to get me everywhere. Or a few people that I know. Like, we would all just meet down there in our own vehicles, and that would be the end of that. Right? So if you had to bus in all of your supporters, I think that they might be on to something with the fact that them people weren't really supposed to be there. And that's why they didn't get in. So I heard what she said. Let's report the whole thing. Where'd you get them people from? And why didn't they have their own means of transportation? And why didn't any of them get in if it was an RSVP event? Meaning, you didn't have them registered beforehand, you didn't get your paperwork done beforehand, and you thought you were just going to barge in there with a bunch of folks and make some noise and keep this whole thing going. I don't believe that the woman is only bad press. I think she may have done something that's good at some point. But the press is only covering the negative. That means that there's too much negative because they can't get you to the positive part of the press. Because every time they bring up your name, something negative is connected to it. Every time I see this woman, it's something negative connected to it. And her story is that it's all fake news. That's what she's saying. It's all fake news. But I saw the first clip. And for anybody that's just getting on the live, you might have missed the first clip. The first clip, the people that worked for her were the ones that were saying it. They work for her, and they're saying, yeah, she's not letting us look at the money. She's doing this, she's doing that. So these are direct connections saying this is what this person does at work. Then the public is also feeling that way, right? They did a move with the Democratic caucus, got her off the ballot because they just don't even want her to be in a position to possibly win again. And if you do that, that means that people really just don't like you, man. Just like I don't like this guy's hairstyle. He could just get that joint, go straight milk dud, bro. Go straight milk dud. If you're going to go that far. Like, if I know his barber be frustrated as hell trying to do that lineup, he's like, I can't even see. Because it's hair, but there's no hair. He's like bald on the top, and then he got a hairline. What? All right. I'm sorry. He obviously descends from the Klingons, based on this very prominent forehead area here. Lieutenant Worf-ass dude over here. Let him finish his 2 minutes.
Meaning be a resident of Thornton Township. Napoleon Harris is not a resident of Thornton Township. Napoleon Harris lives at 1405 Dumfries Lane.
Damn, you put his whole address out there.
In order to be a township supervisor, you are supposed to be a duly qualified resident.
First of all, she lives on a month-to-month lease. She ain't even qualified, in my opinion.
Qualified resident of this township. When you talk about as well as nominations, when nominations are set forth, the chairman is supposed to call for nominations. He never called for any nominations. He only nominated himself, and they moved forward. In regards to just a lot of seniors and residents not having that opportunity to be a part, wheelchair residents, amputated legs. I mean, we just had so many people that came out to support.
So they went and got handicapped people, is what he's saying.
To support.
That's why they needed the bus. Okay, makes sense.
Which I feel disenfranchised the voters of Thornton Township.
He got them keywords right: disenfranchised and handicap and.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for coming out. I appreciate it. I want to do a relationship moving forward with you guys. I pray that this is the starting point so we can talk, because I know I gave you that interview on the spot when we was outside. So hopefully that it goes up from here.
All right. Well, I see what she's talking about, and I still think that it smells like bullshit. Yeah, like I said, hey, Fred, I haven't been following her closely, but every time she pops up, it's always something bad. And it's never anybody jumping on there saying, hey, guess what Tiffany Henyard did for me and my family that made our lives 1,000 times better. It's like every time I hear the woman's name, it's something bad. And I'm one of those folks. I'm always going to be partial to attractive black women in power positions. I want them to do well, because that sets up the ability for other people to follow in that example. The problem is, every time they put somebody in these positions, they want to say it's political warfare or whatever, but it seems like if you didn't do nothing that was questionable, then they wouldn't have any questions, right? And you know what? I'm going to be honest. Power does go to people's heads, but you are who you are. If you're an asshole and then you get a power position, you're just a powerful asshole. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't change your makeup. Now, you might be put in some positions that could be precarious and might, you know, kind of go against your moral standard. Like when you're put in a certain situation and they're like, hey, we'll donate this to this if you do that. And you might have to question some of your morals along the lines. I've seen that. And that makes sense because you're in a position that you've never been in before. And you're now able to make decisions that affect things far reaching from your own life. So I get it. But I do think if you give this woman that much power, she felt like she could just pull up with a bunch of old folks and handicapped folks and push them through the door, get her nomination, and then I guess start a campaign and possibly get reelected. But if the people already don't like you, how many handicapped folks are you bringing here? I mean, I don't know if I'm even supposed to say handicapped folks, but that's what she did. And she went to the old folks' homes and the little shelters and stuff like that, said, hey, you guys got ID. And she threw them on a bus and brought them down there. That's what she did. So I don't think those people were supposed to be in there. But in her statement, she's saying that the people that were in there weren't supposed to be in there. But if they were already on a list, then at some point, that list must have been vetted by somebody. They were letting people in. And the people that were in there obviously lived there because they wouldn't have been there if not. They would have been somewhere else because they don't live there. So you're not going to tell me that the people that were in there were all basically paid actors. The folks that were in there are representatives of that community. That's why they were there. They wanted to make sure she didn't end up on that ballot. That's why that guy only nominated himself at the end, because they wanted to make sure she didn't end up on that ballot. But then she comes in, accuses them of election rigging, and now is going to start a whole legal battle with Thornton Township and Dalton. Like, yo, just go sit down some damn where. Let them people live their lives. You got the bag. You done had the bag for a few years. And like I said, I don't think she's a legitimate resident. You're living on a month-to-month lease of something that you're just renting over there. Like, I don't think that makes you like a permanent resident somewhere unless you've lived in that same month-to-month lease for at least a couple years. You know, she rented the property so she could run for office, in case you didn't pick up on that. That's why she does it on a month-to-month. That way, when she's done, she can get up out of there and just leave. And ain't worried about trying to sell a house or nothing like that. The woman is smart. And I'm not going to put that past her. She's no idiot. However, she managed to get 2 power positions at the same time, and people voted for that somehow. She's no idiot. But once exposed, she's unable to backtrack to a point where people are actually able to like really start to feel her side of it. I don't see how she can be getting evicted, misappropriating funds, getting caught up in scandals with who she was sleeping with and this and that, and then expect people to just vote for her like willingly. Now, she won't be the first person in the world that ever got evicted. So I only mentioned the eviction thing because of how much money she was making versus how much the rent was. But if you put it in the perspective of what I was saying, she has a month-to-month lease somewhere, right? That month-to-month agreement is only there because she wanted to be able to get out of there. That means she probably has another place somewhere else that also has a rent. So if you have 2 places that cost $2,400 a month or more, now I can see why you might not be able to pay the rent. And so that's starting to make some sense to me as to why she ain't got no money for that rent, is because she's paying rent somewhere else. And she got that place just so she could be in a position to say that she was a legal resident of that particular area. Why she was so focused on that small town? Maybe it was because she thought they would look the other way if she started misappropriating funds. I don't know what the angle was as to why she picked that place. She's not even from there. She's not an original native of that area. And then she leased the place so that she could be considered a resident. And then she got in there, took over, and started taking people to Vegas and all that kind of stuff, and calling herself the super mayor and all these other things. It's a power position to which she has obviously not done much for the people, because all I see is her doing stuff for herself and her staff. I wish it was different. I wish that I could tune in and see this lady's face and see her talking to the community, and the community being happy with her, and people standing by her and behind her. And it doesn't seem like that. Oh, she's from Dalton? Okay, but she's not from Thornton Township. So she's from Dalton, not from Thornton Township. And that's what I was saying. In Thornton Township, maybe I misspoke because I've been talking fast. She rented the place that was a month-to-month lease in, I guess it was Thornton Township. And that was so that she could be legitimate there. So the Dalton mayor part of it is one piece of it. And then the supervisor of Thornton Township is the other thing. And you have to be like a state resident to be a mayor, I guess. I don't know. To be a mayor of a city, you have to have a residence in that city, right? So is Thornton Township just a city within that city? And so she covers both of them by being, I don't know. That seems a little weird to me. But like I said, I'm not running for public office. I don't know the rules. I just know that you got to live certain places for a certain amount of time before you can run for certain offices. And I would assume that if a person's on a month-to-month lease in a particular jurisdiction just so they can run for office, that to me would sound and smell a little funny. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know if it's just me, but most folks get at least a year lease. Month-to-month leasers are people that are ready to roll. Like any point in time, I don't like what you're saying, or I don't like what's going on in the area. Gone. I'm out of here. And it's very true, Fred. I appreciate that comment too, because if she did that to a person that called her friend, what do we think she's going to do to the rest of the population that she doesn't know like that? She's going to get over on them, just like she did to her friend. So at this point, she's not going to be reelected. We know this. She's not getting that seat back. But what she can do is sue them for a procedural violation and still get a bag out of that. And that bag is going to come from the same place that she was already misappropriating funds from. That's crazy if you think about it. She's going to take their money anyway. Just because they didn't cross their T's or dot their I's or whatever it is, the woman is obviously smart, like I said. And she is really going to try to drag them through the coals just to get some money out of it. That's it. And they already don't like her because she was misappropriating the funds of the towns that she was running. And so on her way out the door, she's going to say, what? Give me another $1 million so I can continue this lavish lifestyle and be the super mayor. That's a dumb name anyway. Super mayor. You're not you sort of the mayor of two places, but you're not. You know what I'm saying? So this super mayor thing needs to die. Okay, so Dalton is inside of Thornton Township. Okay. Like I said, I'm not from the area, so I don't know how that works. But it just seems like, so she covers her bases by having that month-to-month lease in one place, and it allows her to run for office in two different places. I get that. That's, once again, obviously not an idiot. This woman is smart. And you got to watch out for those. Those smart ones become diabolical if you let them get too far ahead. And I wanted something better for this lady. I really did. I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to cheer for her and she be a good person. And we be talking about the wonderful accolades and the wonderful things that she's done for her community and da-da-da-da-da. I would have rather that have been the story. But for the last 3 years, every single time I've seen this woman's face or name, it's attached to bad press, with the exception of the very first story, which was the historical meaning of her actually being elected. So she was like the first black woman in that position. So other than day one, it's been nothing but bad press for this lady. And I appreciate the geography lesson there too, Fred. I do, because I don't know that area at all. I'm not from there. I don't visit those areas, so I don't know how the boroughs and stuff are set up. And but it sounds like we got a couple of cities within a city. You know, they probably call them townships like that. You know, and within these places, you have other elected officials to handle the local issues. And she's probably she found a way to get 2 jobs. She got 2 full-time jobs, making 6 figures. She's killing the game. I mean, you know, you can be mad all you want, but the woman is killing it. And that's why they had to get her up out of there, because she was finding ways to stay in that power position. She was finding ways to use that money to enjoy life, which is what a lot of people would do. And I'm always skeptical about it when they come to me and they say, oh, this woman did this and this person did that. It seems like everybody's doing that. And I don't know if that's 100% true. I don't. I wish that it wasn't, because I want the best for folks. I want people to you know, have positive outcomes in life in general. And like I said, I'm always going to be a big fan of pretty black women, because I like when they hold a position and do it the right way and don't look like thoughts and heathens. But it seems like every time they're in the position, somehow they get manipulated into or tainted into or transformed into this same thing. They take in money, they go on lavish trips, which is the same thing that most people do in regular life if they have a couple hours. They take lavish trips, they keep their hair and nails done, and they don't do much for other people. Sounds like she's right in that line. She's doing exactly what's expected of most people in her position. And that's hurtful to me. It's hurtful to me, because it's like you want to give, and I'm about to go down black lane here, so pardon me. You want to give young black women positive images to aspire to, especially those who would be in power positions, business owners, things other than, you know, OnlyFans chicks, video vixens, you know, things that are just sex symbols, right? So when I see a beautiful black woman in a power position, I am hoping that she does well. I'm hoping every time. And every time, it's like you give them a year or two, they come back, hey, guess what she done now? I remember the same thing happened with Sheila Dixon up in Baltimore. And then what was the other lady's name? Stephanie Rawlings Blake. Soup cooler Steffi Rawlings. Yeah, she was cool. Then all of a sudden she got in trouble for letting a riot happen. Now, I kind of disagreed with the Stephanie Rawlings Blake thing, how they ostracized her. I think that was wrong. She didn't know what to do. There had never been no riot like that in Baltimore, and they were like, what do we do? And she was like, look, let them do them, because she didn't want them to kill them kids that was out there rioting. I understood the play, but the community was very upset, and she never was able to live that down. And before you knew it, she had scandals. And they were trying to say she misappropriated funds. But Sheila Dixon used up people's gift cards at Walmart to buy fur coats. And then I think she almost got reelected. If she didn't get reelected, I don't even remember. I just remember these people been doing this stuff in these places. And I'm not trying to say don't elect black women to power positions. I'm saying, why does it seem like every time they're in a power position, they get turned into this? Why is there nobody in their ear saying the right things and helping them on the right path? Why is it always, let's try to figure out how we can get over on these people because they were goofy enough to put us in this position? Every time. And I want my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren to have positive black women images to look at. And I want them to have more of those than the negative ones. And right now, all we have is the negative ones. Black women are always looked at as angry, argumentative, basically tricking on dudes, trying to get the bag out of whoever, constantly being conniving and vicious and da-da-da-da-da. And not to say that there's not some of them that exist. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that's all you see. And then you wonder why people are skeptical about either dating or marrying black women when the only images that we get to see these days are of negative, sexual, sometimes overly sexualized, as if they have no other contribution to society, right? And then you get them into a mayoral position and she does something historic, got 2 different types of leadership positions. And instead of being able to go down in history, she's going to go down as that bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And then it makes it even harder for the next person that looks similar or has a similar demeanor to her. It makes them not trust us, guys. I mean, I'm trying, like I said, I know that I get in trouble for speaking on certain things because I am not personally a black woman. Now, in today's society, I probably could identify as one and somebody would have to respect that, but I ain't about that goofiness, so we're not doing that. But what I'm saying is, I'm not tired of the fact that black women have been or haven't been. I got to say this right. Black women have been perceived a certain way for quite some time. And it seems like if you change that perception, that might actually help with the relationships within the black community. One of the most important things that we've had to deal with is the argument and conflict between black men and black women. And that is also the reason why a lot of numbers wise, black people we're a low number. We're not even populating that fast anymore because we're unaliving most of our kids in the womb. But the argument that's constantly happening between black men and black women is really there because we have given ourselves stereotypical ideas of each side and we respond only to that. All women ain't Tiffany Henyard. All women do not have to wear that kind of hair with the edges laid down, just looking like a city girl, you know what I'm saying? Like your average city girl. Like if I saw her, I didn't know who she was. She would just look like the average lady out on the street, average city girl. You know what I'm saying? That's all we got. That's all we got. I don't know. I feel like that might be all we got. I hope that's not all we got. But that seems like all we got. It's like every time we put somebody in a position, you give them 6 months, check the books, something ain't right. Every time. Or they're taking money from somebody who believes that they can manipulate women. Because that's another thing, is when women get in these positions, people do feel like they can manipulate them. So they become even more of a target. Like, oh, they got a woman, whatever now. They got a woman leader over in this situation. Let's go see if we can manipulate that and exploit that. And they do it. So Tiffany Henyard, I'm going to bring her back on the screen, run one more time here, just because I need y'all to see her, because we're about to say goodbye to Tiffy, okay? She has run the news cycle rampant for the last 3 years, to the point where I couldn't even talk about her, because I just was like, by the time I started to talk about a topic, it was something new. So that's why I waited till now, so I could cover a few different things at the same time, and then get to a conclusion as to what this woman's real motive is when it comes to these offices that she's trying to hold. And I think we figured it out. Fred said it in the chat. I seem to think the chat kind of agrees that this woman is simply in this for the bag. Not having the position would remove said bag, and so she's going to sue somebody for an additional bag because the previous bag is now being removed. The woman's money hungry. And she loves the attention. Could you imagine? I mean, I've never been on a billboard anywhere, but if I went around my city and my face and picture was on billboards everywhere, that's got to be some ego boosting, I don't want to call it narcissistic, what is that? Narcissistic supply, but it's definitely got to feed something, right? You driving around, you going to the store, and you got a picture, a 70-foot picture of you on the same road that you're traveling on. That's why the woman thinks she's untouched. You see her face everywhere with her big little smile and her little round face, and she looks like she's cool, but is she really? No, she's not. I hate to say it, she's not cool. She's not cool. She's not cool. And the reason why she's not cool is because she didn't get them offices for them people. She did not get elected to help people. She gave them dudes gas, or women. She gave them people some gas. And because most people don't really think about politics that much, they're like, oh, the lady that gave us gas, and then they vote for you. And that's how she got in office. And then they realized that she was screwing up, and now they want her out of office, and she don't want to go. Where did we go wrong where politicians are refusing to leave their offices when the people have spoken? We're dealing with that with the White House right now. We're dealing with that with certain mayors and sanctuary cities and stuff right now. Everybody talk about they don't want to do nothing that the people done spoke on. People. You say you work for the people and the people said this. Then shut up. Go elsewhere. Find something else to do and be some other township mayor if they'll have you. But them people in Dalton don't like you. So keep it pushing, Miss Tiffany Henyard. Keep it pushing. There's nothing wrong with keeping it pushing. There's nothing wrong with admitting defeat and moving on. But if you keep trying to poke at these people, you'll just taint your whole legacy. And then you just become trash after that. And right now, she's looking like garbage because she's about to take these people through a legal battle to try to do something that she wasn't going to win anyway. You weren't winning it anyway. They didn't want you. They wanted you gone. And I know that that's probably a narcissistic injury. And narcs don't like that. You know why they don't like that? Because they twist it up in the head. They think that nobody else in this world can see them for the real thing that they are. Nobody can see that mask or see how it pushes to the side and see the evil that sits behind it. And then every once in a while, that mask will slip and you'll see them for what they are. Never forget what they show you, because they'll show it to you again. And when you're prepared for something, then you can deal with it accordingly. But if you let these people keep moving into these offices, getting over on some people for 3 or 4 years, and then dipping off with the bag, you can't be mad. Vet them. Find out who she is really. Talk to people that went to high school with her. Like, if you really want to know who somebody is, find out what they were doing when there was no social media, when nobody was pulling evidence on everybody. See, now with social media, stuff travels so fast, you can't even... And traffic cameras and all types of stuff. You are constantly under surveillance now. But find out what she was doing when nobody was paying attention. I guarantee you're going to find out she was swiping. She probably had a couple of little scams going. Might have sounded legit. You know, a couple things. She was inflating a few numbers. But she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing, so much so that we gave her 2 positions at the same time and then got mad that she wasn't going to effectively do one. Guys, if you give somebody 2 positions of power at the same time and you wonder why they start acting a little high acidity, it's because you're not paying attention to the human psyche. You can't give nobody that kind of power without it changing them. So now they took that power back, and she's gonna be on some new stuff. Say she was breaking into cars. Yeah, she was probably out there breaking into cars, lock picking, all types of stuff. We don't know. Like I said, you want to know about somebody really, find out what they were doing in high school. High school, early college years. Between like 16 and 20. Them 4 years right there, that's where people really start getting into stuff. Now, some folks, they keep it going into their 30s, never grow up. But most people did their worst shit between the ages of like 16 and 21. Because, you know, like let's say if you were 16 and you were drinking, at 21, that's not against the law no more, so it's not bad. You see what I'm saying? So that 16 to 21 gap, you start driving, you're exploring the world, you got friends that are seeing stuff, and you start doing some crazy stuff. She said that's her mug picture. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not from there, but I wouldn't put it past what she would look like in jail because they would take the blonde hair off. She probably have like a little short Caesar. She have a little short Caesar, wear a round ass head. Head round as hell. And her neck thick. She got a thick neck. Nothing wrong with a thick neck. You know, it's powerful neck. She's powerful in the neck area is what she is. And she's also powerful in Thornton Township and also powerful in Dalton and also powerful for that. But now her power is being stripped. And she's going to make y'all pay for it in Dalton. You don't want her to be your little mayor no more? Fine. Pay for her to leave. That's what she's saying. And that's messed up. That's messed up. Them people don't want her. Them people don't want her. You said she really does have a mugshot? And she really was breaking into cars? That's funny. I didn't know that, but that's kind of funny. Like, she does have that look of like the little small person that you can put into the small spaces that go in the house and like open the door for the people to come in. You know what I'm saying? Not saying nothing about my own past, but you always have a little person go through the window and when you breaking into the house, because a little person can get through the windows a little bit quicker. Hey, for my mods, don't mod anything right now. Fred's cool. I don't know which comment that was, but Fred, you cool. You cool. Don't worry about that. Wow. I'm going to have to check this out. I don't know. If y'all got a second, I need to know. Hold on. Because if she really does have a mugshot, I'm going to pull it up. Let's see what we got here. Give me a second. Let me throw music break. Stay with me. I'm searching something. Oh, wow. Yo. Hold up. I got to bring it to you. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that was a pretty easy Google search right there, huh? All right, so we definitely have Miss Tiffany Henyard as a mugshot over here. Who's this? Illinois super mayor. When was this? Let's see what we got here. What's this one about? This is a mugshot. Okay, here we go.
Y'all tip.
Okay, so she had wire fraud charges and she did get arrested and she did have a mugshot. Damn. But this was after she was elected. Okay. All right. Because I was about to say, if she was just like a petty thief her whole life and then people elected her into office without checking her history, that's a failure of the public. That's not her failure. She got over where she could. You know what I'm saying? She's a vulnerability exploiter. She's a penetration tester. She's a pen tester is what she is. So I don't know what this one is. She had wire fraud. This was 3 months ago. Man, I missed this one. I was doing so we had the eviction. We had the misappropriation of funds, which was the Vegas trips and other thing. I didn't know she had a wire fraud situation going on. Let's dig in. Shouts to Miss T channel over here. Let's go ahead and hit the subscribe for Miss T channel and make sure that you come back to that channel. We're going to give her a clip credit on this one.
Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, just got cuffed by the FBI. Y'all know how it was reported that her shopping sprees might have been funded by some shady wire fraud, right?
Uh-oh.
Well, the feds are saying that she turned Dalton's millions into major debt. How crazy is all of this? Now, let me tell you, this isn't your average small-town drama. Henyard was living it up like a real-life Kardashian, while Dalton's bank account was drying up fast. We're talking about designer bags, luxury vacations, and a security detail that costs more than people's houses. But hold on,
But she
because we're
couldn't
about
pay
to
her
spill
rent,
all
though.
the tea on how this small town mayor might have been living large on your dime. Are you ready for this? Because it's about to get real messy because the FBI's got receipts and they're coming for Tiffany hard. Y'all, the situation is so bad and it gets worse the more we talk about it. Ever wonder how a town
Thanks
goes
for the
from
info
having
there, Fred.
millions in the
Appreciate
bank
you.
to drowning in debt? Well, Tiffany Henyard's got some splaining to do and the feds are all ears. Now let's rewind this mess and see how Dalton's golden girl turned into FBI's latest headache. It all started when Tiffany Henyard was sworn in as a mayor after the previous one, Frank Zuccarelli, suddenly passed away. The last-minute appointment had folks raising their eyebrows, but Henyard came in hot, promising the world to Dalton's residents. At first, everyone was all about Tiffany. She was like the town's very own celebrity, strutting around with big plans and even bigger promises. But y'all, that honeymoon phase sure didn't last long. Before you could even say taxpayer money, things started to get real sketchy. See, Henyard's administration wasn't just controversial, it was down.
I mean, if you get, like I said, on the surface, it looked like the woman was trying to do the damn thing. On the surface, you know, you seen her face everywhere. She's got this old Muhammad Ali looking dude with her. Trustee Andrew Holmes, whoever that is. I don't know him, but, you know, this is the people's mayor. She says she's the people's mayor. And because she said it, you're supposed to believe it. She's a politician. So if she said it, you're supposed to believe it. She's supposed to believe it. So I'm gonna let them keep going. I'm only gonna play a couple of minutes of this. If y'all want to see the full video from Miss T's channel, I'll put the link in the description. You can come back to it after the fact.
Right hostile. Anyone who dared to question her got shut down real fast. It's like she thought she was running her own little kingdom instead of a town. But here's where it gets wild. While Dalton's bank account was shrinking fast, Henyard was living it up like she had her own personal ATM. We're talking designer everything, fancy trips, and a security team that probably cost more than folks made in a year. Now, y'all might be thinking, now how did she get away with all this?
Well, how did she?
Out she didn't. The village's board tried to put their foot down and investigate all this crazy spending, but Henyard wasn't having it. She shut down that veto quicker than you can say corruption.
Sandra Elston has been the assessor here in Thornton Township for the past 10 years, an elected position that helps residents deal with exemptions and property tax appeals. But when she arrived at work this morning, something strange happened.
This was your office?
Yes.
What happened when you tried to open it?
It doesn't work.
All right, first of all, how the hell did this lady get back in the building that she was fired out of? Maybe I'm the only one to pick that up. You got fired, locks got changed, and you come back in with the news and they let you in the building. I ain't never been in no situation like that. I smell bullshit. Continue.
Not only had Elston been locked out of her own office, but boxes of sensitive documents that she kept in her office were spread around the common area.
This was under lock and key before.
This was under lock and key.
And now it's just out in the open?
Now it's just out in the open. So
why are you in there if you don't work there?
So who did this to you?
Well, I imagine this new supervisor, Tiffany Henyard.
Brian and Natalie, it is very clear that the trustees in Thornton Township have trust issues, refusing to second the motion by Tiffany Henyard to get routine township bills paid.
I motion that we pay the bills for the general fund. Is there a second? It's been motion and second. Call the roll.
Trustee Jones?
Nope. Radio silence after Henyard attempts to get general fund bills paid. Here's why the trustees didn't go along with it. Last night, the agenda included none of those proposals, so they refused to budge on this.
You guys still don't want to move forward with paying?
She definitely came up a little bit in her look over the time she was there. I'm not saying that she's ugly or anything. I'm just saying she came up a little bit on her look.
Any of the bills in the general fund? That is my question.
And Fred, I'm still pulling up this other info too, buddy. Thank you for the information, though.
Trustee, y'all already have the bills. Do you want to pay the bills on the general fund?
What the public needs to know.
They already know. Stop.
They don't need
Our meeting is on Tuesday.
So that's a no then.
We're here.
That's
We're here.
So
we had time to review it. My question is, are you paying the bills?
To review invoices.
Point of order. Is there a motion on the floor to pay the general fund?
So that motion to pay those bills failed. Henyard adjourned the meeting and walked out. Natalie.
But here's the kicker. While Henyard was living large, Dalton was going broke. We're talking about a town that went from having millions in the bank to being over $3.5 million in debt. That's just not bad budgeting, y'all. That's like setting your wallet on fire and then wondering why you can't pay your rent. And don't even get me started on the FBI investigation.
And she can't
They're
pay
not
her
just
rent.
looking at a few receipts. No, they're digging into everything. Payroll, budgets, credit card statements, and everything that they can get their hands on.
Hey, if you're just getting into the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And this is a subscribers only chat. That's how we do lives here at Purge the BS, because we talk to the people that want to talk to us, not the trolls. You understand what I'm saying? You got to show me you're serious about a conversation before you enter one here. Continue.
Y'all, that's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, because Henyard went from being Dalton's darling to public enemy number 1 faster than you could say wire fraud. And now the feds are breathing down her neck. It looks like her empire of luxury goods and lavish trips is about to come crashing down. But now we all know that the feds don't play around, but what are they going to do to Henyard? It's like they're trying to solve a million-piece puzzle with her face on it. What could be so juicy that the FBI is treating Dalton like it's the next Watergate? Y'all, the FBI isn't playing with this investigation either. They dropped the hammer on Tiffany Henyard. I mean, real hard, real fast. And they're digging into every nook and cranny of her life. And let me tell you, it's looking messier than a toddler's art project. The feds have slapped Henyard with not 1 but 2 subpoenas. That's right, they're coming at her from all angles. The first one's all about her personal business dealings. They want to know everything about her restaurant, her property management company, even her political action committee.
What was she doing? Hold on a second.
More.
Hold on a second. What was she doing before she was doing this? I mean, like I said, I don't know her in any other capacity other than this super mayor thing that she's been doing for the last few years. And it looks like she's definitely got some history here. Definitely got some history here. But it said something about her businesses and she was getting in trouble for that, so on and so forth. It's like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Henyard 2016 criminal trespass. Uh-oh. Let's look that up. I think I got it. I can't find the mugshot, but I can say for... Oh, you was right, Fred. You got it, bro. You got it. Let me bring it up. He was right. So apparently Henyard previously owned a restaurant called Good Burger, located in Calumet City and then on the campus of South Suburban College. She faced charges of criminal trespass to vehicles following an arrest in 2016, according to Chicago police records. So you're right. She was out there breaking into people's cars at a business that she owned. What the fuck is that? Yo! Are you serious? And somebody elected her into office after that. Like, don't go over to Good Burger, man. You go in and eat some food. The manager's going to come out and break into your car. Oh, Tiffy. Anyway, I'm gonna give them one more minute on this
Second
one.
subpoena, it's all about those township financial records. We're talking budgets, payroll records, and expense reimbursements. It's like the FBI is trying to follow every single penny that's passed through Dalton's coffers. Now, y'all
I'm
might
sorry,
be
that's
thinking,
funny
is
as
this
hell.
really that serious? Well, let me drop this bomb on you. Former FBI agent Ross Rice said, and I quote, "It's a very broad in scope. It's very broad in the number of people and entities they're asking for records on. So there must be some serious allegations of wrongdoing that they're trying to get to the bottom of." When an ex-FBI agent says it's serious, you know it's not just some small town drama anymore. But here's where it gets juicier. The FBI isn't just looking at Henyard. They're casting their net wide and far, scooping up their whole inner circle. Our top A, Keith Freeman, he's in the hot seat too. And it doesn't stop there. Other township officials are feeling the heat as well. It's like the feds are trying to untangle a whole web of potential shenanigans.
You know what her theme song is? Tiffany Henyard's theme song? She said, "I'll be fresh as hell if the feds watching." That's her theme song. She be trying to stay fresh knowing them feds is on her. So let me recap this. And thank you again, Fred, for the heads up on that information. Yes, that is 100% true. She had theft charges for breaking into people's vehicles. Now, criminal trespass just means you went somewhere you weren't supposed to with the intention of committing a crime, or you went somewhere you weren't supposed to and committed a crime. So you get the criminal trespass for either the intention or you'll get the criminal trespass for actually committing the crime. But according to the documents, she was going into people's cars at a business that she either owned or was the manager or franchisee of. So can you imagine if you was like, yo, I'm hungry, you want to go to Good Burger? And somebody's like, nah, bro, don't go to Good Burger. You know that little cute-ass manager to be in the back? Oh, she was breaking into the cars. And then 4 years later, we elect her into an office. That's hilarious. I don't know what's up over there in Dalton and guys, come on now. I just searched that in 2 minutes. They need to get it together now. That's funny.
And if you thought that was...
And then they're surprised that she's taking money from the town that she's leading. She was taking stuff from cars that were at a business that she owned. And we're going to be surprised that she's taking from the town that she manages.
Hold on to your edges, because there's more. The FBI's been chatting up with witnesses left and right, and they've been grilling local business owners and former employees, and they're piecing together this puzzle one interview at a time. And from the looks of it, the picture isn't pretty for Henyard and her crew. The FBI is leaving no table unturned, no receipt crumbled, and no bank statement unexamined. They're determined to get to the bottom of this mess and will not stop until they've uncovered every last detail.
Okay.
So what does this all mean for Tiffany Henyard? Well, it looks like her days of living large on Dalton's dime might be coming to a screeching halt.
Look good in that one.
The feds are closing in and they have more receipts for her. Henyard's empire of luxury and excess.
Now hold up. I don't know if y'all noticed, anybody that's been on this live for long enough, this is the same pink hat she had on when she went down there protesting. So I don't know how old this video is, but if she's balling like that, she sure as hell wears the same stuff on camera. And most people who balling like that are very particular about not being seen in the same outfits and the same standout pieces of accessories, because they want people to know that they got it like that, so they don't ever have to wear the same thing. So I don't know if this was the same day. I doubt it was, but she obviously likes this little pink hat. That's her thing. So we're going to say she's the pink hat lady. And I'm going to give this, we got 2 minutes left on this before I got to stop
they have
this
more
one.
receipts for her. Henyard's empire of luxury and excess is starting to look shakier than a Jenga tower in an
But she was
earthquake.
killing it. Look,
Just
she's
when you
doing
thought that
food
Henyard
commercials.
couldn't dig a deeper hole, she bought herself a gold-plated
She's at the
shovel,
fire
y'all.
station.
The amount of taxpayer money she's
She's
accused
on the
of blowing
news.
through could make Jeff Bezos blush. But what was she spending it all on? Buckle up, because this shopping list is definitely giving just throw it in the bag. Let's start with the big one, $1 million police security detail. Yeah, you heard that right. While Dalton struggles to keep the lights on.
Did y'all see that road? That road looked like shit. $1 million for the police detail? All right, I'm in the wrong business. I'll be on your detail, Miss Tiffany Dalton. If you come to my town, I'll take a couple of hours just to walk around. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking no bullet for you though. I'll push you out the way, but I ain't gonna jump in front of it, if that makes sense. I'll push you. Like if I see something going on, hey, you know what I'm saying? You get one of those. But all that, hey, jumping in there, nope. Got a family. Just saying. But yeah, Fred, she definitely had to plea out to a lesser crime on that criminal trespass, because you can't get criminal trespass unless there's some type of crime associated with the trespass. So there had to be some other thing, which was probably breaking and entering, petty theft, or whatever was going on when she was taking stuff out of these people's cars. And then 4 years later, they voted her into office. Whose fault is that? I don't know. I don't know.
Henyard struts around with a security team that costs more than some small country's entire defense budgets. It's like she thought she was the president of the United States, not the
She's loving
mayor
it,
of
though.
a
She was
small
taking
town in
selfies.
Illinois. Now you might think, okay, but maybe Dalton's just really dangerous? Well, honey, if it was, this security detail sure wouldn't help. When Henyard was living it up with her personal army, the rest of Dalton was left high and dry when it came to fighting actual crimes. It's like she was trying to play cops while the real police were left with water guns. But wait, y'all, it gets better.
Yep, there's the
Remember when I
boyfriend.
said Henyard was living like there was no tomorrow? Well, she took that to heart with a shopping spree that would make the Kardashians jealous. Picture this, $33,000 spent on Amazon in one day.
Damn.
Y'all, that's crazy. I mean, how many wigs, batteries, and bras can you get from Amazon? Was she buying designer face masks, gold-plated staplers, a lifetime supply of gourmet coffee? We don't know what exactly, but whatever it was, it sure wasn't fixing Dalton's pothole problem. Now, like I said, while Henyard was living large, Dalton drowned in debt. We're talking millions in the red, folks. But she wasn't done. Oh no, she was just getting started because she still had to go on her fancy trips, stay at luxury hotels, eat at high-end restaurants. If it was expensive, she was there. It was like she was on a mission to single-handedly stimulate the economy of every other place except Dalton, because Miss Mama's pretty much ran the town to the ground. But here's the thing, every party has to end at some points, and when the FBI crashes your shindig, you know it's gonna be a rude awakening.
All right, so they get into the actual breakdown of what she spent money on. Now, $67,000 for a trip. I think they chartered a private jet. Now, I don't know that you're that important as the mayor of Dalton that you need to fly private everywhere, but that's what she was doing. So it's like $20,000 to charter the private. Then, of course, there's the hotel stays and all that kind of stuff. So she was getting it in. She definitely was getting it in. I mean, you saw some of the outfits. The woman looked good in the outfits. I ain't gonna take that from her. She definitely looked good in those. But she used them people's money to do so. So I don't know.
Henyard's receipts like a mama checking Halloween candy, and let me tell you, they're finding more tricks than treats. But hold on, y'all, because if you thought that the FBI was the only big name in this mess, think again. There's a new sheriff in town.
Lord.
She used to run Chicago. While she's poking around in Dalton's business, well, let's just say that when one mayor starts digging into another's dirt, you know things are about to get real messy.
Messy like this
Drama in
hairline.
Dalton got turned up to
Yo, I got 3 words to describe what I'm looking at right now. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
11, because guess who got called in to play detective? None other than Chicago's former mayor,
she
Lori
looked just like
Lightfoot herself.
Beetlejuice.
Now, what's a big city ex-mayor doing in little old Dalton? Well, it turns out that when you've got a mayor who's spending money like it's going out of style, you need someone who knows how to follow the cash. See, the Dalton Village Board isn't playing around anymore. They voted to bring in Lightfoot to investigate Tiffany Henyard's spending. Lightfoot isn't just a random pick.
It's
She was a
showtime.
federal prosecutor before she was mayor, so you know she's not about that BS. Now, Lightfoot's job, she's supposed to shine a big light on Henyard's spending
Yo.
and expose her.
Yo.
Folks in Dalton are mad as hornets about their tax dollars having been flying out the window faster than a kid's allowance at a candy store. They want answers and they want them now. But y'all, Henyard isn't taking it lying down. She's fighting back, or at least she's trying to. She's out here saying this whole thing is just politics. She's claiming folks are coming after her because she's a woman, because of her race. She's pretty much trying to play the victim while
You know, I hate when people do that. You get in trouble for something you did, or people start looking into something you did, and the first thing you want to say is that they're looking into me because I'm black. No, they're looking into you because you did this thing that brought attention to you, and now they're looking into that. You could be black or white. I guarantee if you put a Caucasian woman in the same exact position and she did the same exact thing, that they would be looking at her the same exact way. The thing I find interesting about this is a lot of these locations are predominantly black areas, or largely populated black areas. And it's like, people don't seem to have as much of an issue with black people getting over on black people. Just from what I noticed. Because she's been in office for years. These news stories been going on for years. And she was still there to the point where they had to literally keep her out of the caucus to keep her off the ballot. When really, they could have just let her get on the ballot and people would have just voted her out if she was doing that bad. So that's where it's, and it was all black people. So it's us against us in this situation too. I don't know, man. It's kind of sad to me. It's like we can't just be stand up kind of folks. You get into a position and everybody's got to do something wrong. Everybody's got to be Diddy. You know, there's not enough Denzel Washingtons out there. And then you find out Denzel is a damn alcoholic most of the time. Granted, he stayed out of scandals, but he had a problem that we just didn't know about. That's why he acted so well in that movie where he was the pilot and he was a drunk. It's because he really was an alcoholic. I didn't know that. But he also wasn't out there misappropriating funds for whole cities. So this lady has now been ostracized politically. In my opinion, she probably will never hold another political office again. You can't have the keys to the city if you're going to be gouging the damn reserve money. It's a stupid way to run things, but if she did right, she should have a couple of bags stored up, if that makes sense. And she shouldn't be so pressed about staying in there so that the feds can keep watching her, because that's what they're going to keep doing. They're going to catch you, Tiff. Whatever you did wrong is going to come out. And they're already digging into you, so you might want to just step out of the spotlight and just go somewhere, go do something different, and then maybe they'll leave you alone. But if you stay in that spotlight, I guarantee they're going to find something on this woman, and she's going to do some real jail time. They find ways. They find ways. If they really want you, you gone. Simple as that.
While she's living it up on the town's dime. Y'all, that's the audacity for me. Meanwhile, Lightfoot is digging through receipts and she is digging deep. She's checking every credit card statement, expense report, and trip Henyard took.
All right, before I let that go, Lori Lightfoot don't have no good reputation either as being a stand-up guy. Stand-up person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got one corrupt person to investigate another corrupt person. So I guess who would know better than somebody that's doing the same kind of crap, I guess. But yeah, I think that's funny.
What she's finding is shocking as F. Remember that $1 million security detail? The fancy trips, the Amazon shopping sprees. Lightfoot's putting all the pieces together, and the picture it's making isn't pretty. Lightfoot's investigation is looking like a reality TV show, but with way higher stakes. Every day there's a new revelation, a new receipt, a new reason for Dalton residents to shake their heads. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, but the train is made of dollar bills, and the track is Dalton's bank account. But here's the thing, Lightfoot isn't just looking at the past, she's trying to figure out how to stop this money leak before Dalton turns into a ghost town. It's like she's trying to plug a dam with 1,000 holes and Henyard's still up there punching new ones. Y'all, this whole situation is a crazy mess. You've got a mayor investigating another mayor, the FBI sniffing around, and a town wondering where all their money went. It's like a political soap opera, but with real consequences.
And unfortunately, all black faces in the controversy. But yeah, it takes one to know one theory is probably why Lightfoot was put on the case. And Lightfoot's trying to make up for people not liking her, I guess, by getting the mud thrown on Henyard so everybody can be looking at Henyard. But it's two black women. Lightfoot's a woman. I know her hairline doesn't say that. But yeah, Lightfoot's a woman and Tiffany Henyard is a woman. And so now we got two black women going at each other to try to prove who's more corrupt. That's fun. I mean, I don't know how much more of this I can internalize right now, because I'm not a big fan of Lori Lightfoot, because I've seen, how the people felt about her. And then there's this Tiffany Henyard person who I'm sure gets by on looks a little bit, at least at first, until they figure out what kind of ugly stuff she's actually up to. But what I do see is that these black areas with black people fighting over who's more corrupt. Meanwhile, there's whole wars going on. There's billions of dollars going in this direction and that direction, and we're only worried about the trips that Tiffany Henyard took. The feds was worried about that. That sounds like a misuse of resources to me. The corruption's everywhere. Corruption's everywhere. So why are we stopping with just this Tiffany Henyard thing? I'm gonna give it one more minute here.
For real people. Y'all, if you thought this drama was just playing out in fancy offices and courtrooms, think again. The streets of Dalton are heating up faster than a summer sidewalk. But what's got these small town folks so fired up? Well, let me tell you. They're madder than a wet hen about Tiffany Henyard's spending sprees. And honestly, who can blame them for being this furious? The people of Dalton aren't sitting quiet
Look at them
anymore.
glasses,
They're out
though.
here protesting, demanding that Henyard
I like
step
them
down.
glasses. That's
These
the
folks are
same
sick
lady.
and tired of watching their hard-earned tax dollars disappear quickly just to fund their mayor's lavish, over-the-top lifestyle. I mean, these folks are watching their town sink deeper into debt while Henyard's living it up like she's got a golden ticket to the money factory. At a recent village board meeting, she got dragged for filth, of course.
Lastly, Tiffany, there's one comment that I've heard out of your mouth that I actually agree with.
He said, talk about going to jail was the sound clip.
If she stood on a stack of Bibles and had her tongue notarized, not a damn thing she says comes out her mouth is true.
Things got so heated that the police had to clear the room because people were very big mad. People were shouting, pointing fingers, and demanding answers. One business owner, Lawrence Gardner, even said he was harassed by local police after he refused to contribute to Henyard's political campaign. That's some scary stuff right there. Definitely give him mob, especially when it seems like the local police were in Tiffany's pocket. But it isn't just the regular folks who were mad. Even the village board is trying to put their foot down. They voted to investigate Henyard's spending, but she shut that down faster than you can blink. I mean, she loves her little lavish lifestyle, and she wasn't about to let the village board stop her from living her best life on the town's coin, which she should have never been doing in the first place. She vetoed the village board quickly, and she shut it down. Now, this is where things get real serious. The state of Illinois is so fed up with this mess, they decided to freeze funds to Dalton. That's right, they're cutting off the money pipeline.
They must have cut off her stylist, too. Look at her makeup and hair and change.
Candy. Except in this case, the candy is designer bags, luxury trip, and the parents are the whole state. And if that's not bad enough, Dalton might be facing some hefty fines, too. All this drama.
Why she got a gold microphone? Did y'all see that? Why you got a gold mic? Like, who was you with your gold microphone? Right there. Hold on, let me back it up. You see this? She's got a gold microphone. I don't know. She seems a little vain to me. She seems a little vain to me. What the hell you need a gold microphone at the city meeting for? Like, and there's only one, and she's the only one with it. Yeah, this lady might have some issues. She might. That just seems real narcissistic for some reason. I don't know. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know.
Up in arms, it's looking like Henyard's empire is shakier than a house of cards in a tornado because people are starting to connect the dots. And the picture they see isn't pretty. The people are ready to storm the castle, and by castle I mean the mayor's office. They want answers. But now that Henyard's empire is crumbling, what's going to happen to Dalton? The answer might surprise you.
Get the baby
Dalton's
back.
facing some really serious issues. With Tiffany Henyard's reign looking super shaky, the town's facing a crisis bigger than a Texas-sized tornado. But let's break it down for you. Dalton's going from having millions in the bank to being deeper in the hole. We're talking about $3.5 million in debt. That's not just bad math. That's a full-on financial disaster for a small town. It's like someone took the town's piggy bank and smashed it with a sledgehammer. And it's not just about money. Dalton's leadership is looking emptier than a ghost town at night. With Henyard under investigation and the town board at each other's throats, I just know Zeus Channel would kill for this type of messy drama. Well, except for the part where the feds are sniffing around, because y'all know that nobody likes the feds sniffing around their business, because the feds know how to sniff, and they're almost always gonna find something. But anyways, you might be thinking, is this the end of Dalton? Well, hold on to your horses, because this isn't Dalton's first rodeo, and it might not be the last.
All right, well, I'm going to let that happen there. I'm going to stop that there because pretty much gone through this whole video, but I still put the link in the description for anybody that comes in later. But definitely we gotta unpack this one last time here, because I gotta go in a second. The wife is waiting on me, and I'd like to see the wife. So here's the thing, Carlos, you got it. She's a gold digger, but she was digging deep. Well, she went deep in them pockets. And in the second they said something about her losing funding, you see her whole makeup situation change. She came on there looking rough, like just woke up. I woke up like that. Yes, you did. Go back in there and clean up before you come out here presenting yourself. So I know Tiffany Henyard will never see this video. I know that. I'm too low on the radar for her to really care about what I have to say. I just want to make sure that those who haven't watched the story or haven't been paying attention to the story that's been going on for a few years now understand that it seems like every time we put certain people in certain positions, we always put people in those positions that seem to kind of go dirty after a while, right? And I would normally say it's about the people and they're already being dirty, right? But is there any truth to, similar to Hollywood and stuff like that, like if you get brought into certain circles, they tell you about certain things and teach you about certain loopholes and say, oh, you won't get caught. And then be the same ones that rat you out when you don't do what they say. They build up these things. Like, how do these people even have this information? They did FOIA requests and they got the info. The FBI is already on to the lady. Like I said, her theme song is I'll be fresh as hell if the feds watching. Because that's what she's been doing. She is not hiding from anyone. She's all in the public eye. For some reason, they can't serve her paperwork for her eviction, though, which is weird. But I think I saw earlier in the chat, thanks, Deborah, for the info, that she did get evicted already, but she wasn't pressed. She wasn't really trying to live in that place. She was just using that so she could run for a particular office, and you had to be a resident in that jurisdiction. It was a smart move. It worked, obviously. So she don't really need that spot. What she does need is she needs a few people to stop just being yes men, as they say, and either expose the fact that she's being targeted, which I don't think it is, because they don't have all this kind of stuff and all of these receipts if you haven't done nothing wrong. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to have all that. What they would have is they'd have you in jail. I mean, that's the honest truth. If you really was doing all that, you go to jail. And she might have been doing all that, but she's hid it well enough in the paperwork that they're not going to really find it. So they did the only thing that they knew to do, which was to literally keep her off the ballot so she can't keep doing it. And now she's mad at that. Now she's upset that the voters and the Democratic voters to which she is a part of that party have expressed dissatisfaction in the job that she was doing, so much so that they didn't even want her to even run again. And for whatever reason, she wants to fight that process, almost to force herself onto some people that obviously do not like her. And then they got Beetlejuice looking at her now, Lori Lightfoot. So I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to keep Tiffany Henyard in the headlines. She's a bad look for black women. And I don't mean visually. She's a pretty woman. Don't get me wrong. I think she's a relatively attractive woman. But if the only time you see her is when something bad is going on, it's putting out there, hey, we can't trust black women in offices of power. Because if you give them the keys, then they're going to unlock the vault and start taking the money out. And I've seen it enough times now that I hate to say it, but I'm starting to feel like that. And I would like to see something different. I've seen it enough times now that I've become almost accustomed to it. And I'm not even going to say I'm used to it now, but it's like, is this all we got? Really? Yeah, Carlos, I give credit where credit's due. If a woman's attractive, I know a lot of attractive women that ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? But I won't say that they're ugly. They might be ugly personality-wise, but they're attractive women. They're pretty. But there's a lot of pretty women that don't have much else going for them other than their looks. This woman, I'm not going to say she's an idiot because she figured out a way to get over on like a million people and then justify it in their little meetings. So she ain't no idiot. She ain't no idiot. I just think that she's pressing something only because it has a monetary gain. I don't feel like, from everything I heard, nobody said, well, she also did this project to fix the bridge in Dalton or fix the potholes over here or build this community center or none of that. It's all, she was taking trips. She was going to Vegas. She was, buying clothes. She was buying bags. She was buying. And y'all let her do it. I'm not from there, but y'all did it. Y'all did it. Somebody had to approve the damn spending. Somebody had to sign off on that. Somebody had to do the expense reports. So I don't think she should go down by herself if she's going to go down at all. Somebody signed off on them expense reports. She can ask for whatever she wants. She could be, I want $1 million to go to Vegas. And they could be like, no. If you sign off on it, it's your fault too. So the people of Dalton and Thornton Township, y'all need to make sure that y'all come down on the people that are on that staff too. I know they did get rid of that one dude. I think his last name was Freeman. But it wasn't the public that got rid of him per se. It was kind of like her. And I think it was because he was speaking against some of these things. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not up there in that area to even know what's going on a day-to-day basis. But what I do know is that this woman came into office. She already had a record. She was stealing from cars out of a parking lot of a business that she owned. She was known for being a little bit vain. She's also known for putting her face all over everything and trying to basically game the system as far as marketing. So she was doing her thing before she became this Dalton mayor person, right? Or Thornton Township supervisor. Both of those. The super mayor, as they called her, which I told y'all is dumb. And if I ever hear it again, throat punch. Okay? There's no such thing as a super mayor. You're just a mayor. You're only super if you do something super. And she might have been a super sleuth, as they call it, a super thief. But I don't know for a fact. What I do know is she made a lot of money. She didn't pay certain people. A lot of people got paid. And the ones that live there are not getting what they think they should be getting in return. And if this woman has $1 million to go take business trips, then why don't we have $1 million for the potholes in the road? I can understand why the people would have an issue with that. And because I understand that is the reason why I had to cover this story, because I'm not from there, but I always have to ask myself, who's letting these people stay in these positions if this is a democracy, as they call it, and we can vote people out? Or if they do something that's illegal, we can get rid of them, right? So at the end of this, yes, Tiffany Henyard is a little dirty. But she's only dirty because y'all gave her a shovel and let her start digging. And then didn't stop her when she dug too deep. So it's partially her fault, but it's like this. If you give her an inch and she takes a foot, it's your inch-giving ass self that probably set it up. You gave her the keys to the castle. And she did exactly what any princess would do once she's in the castle. Ran rampant up in that castle and enjoyed the feeling of royalty that y'all gave her. So don't ever do that again, Dalton and Thornton Township and all of that. Don't let nobody call themselves no super mayor. Don't let people hold multiple offices where they got access to large funds like that, especially not on a local level, because the local people don't have the same recourse as like a federal oversight committee. They don't have that kind of thing. That's why they had to go get Lori Lightfoot and the Chicago folks. So if you don't know, guys, now you know. Tiffany Henyard, I'll bring her up for you one more time, just so y'all can see her in the little picture here. Hold on a second. In the mugshot photo. Let's see what we got. Let's bring in the mugshot photo here. Here's our little mugshot photo. And this is a federal, she was locked up federally. So, I don't know, guys. Y'all voted her in. I didn't vote her in. But she's definitely soaking up all the attention and all of the money and all of the narcissistic supply that she can possibly feed on. And you know, when you start supplying narcissists with the things that they want, there is no way back from that other than no contact and total cutoff. Because once they find out that you're a supply, they will return to that supply. It's like food. So the more bad press you give her, the tighter she's going to keep that weave. She shows up on TV looking good so that the simps of the world would just be seeing that. And they'll be like, why are they taking advantage of this pretty black girl? So she wins on that. She's probably the cutest mayor I've seen in a while. But she did exactly what people expected her to do, as unfortunately as a black woman. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not mad at her in that regard. If y'all let her do it, y'all let her do it. That's y'all fault. You ain't gonna come up in my house and just start snatching money out of it, and I'm not gonna be the one to stop you. That's all I'm saying. But Tiffany, let you know, if this politics thing does not work out for you, OnlyFans has not been shut down just yet. And I'm sure you'll make a lot of money over there because people are weird and they would put money into that. And you know what that is, guys. That, my friends, is the bullshit.